All right, everybody, you are locked in to Lights Out Sports right here on the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. We appreciate you being with us. My name is Mike Valentine. There's my buddy Cheese right there above the Battle Bites logo over in the corner. We appreciate all of you being on with us as we always try to talk about stuff here: football, baseball, and college football. So both footballs, NFL, college, and baseball will sandwich in between a little bit. Cheese, I know we did a special last night, so I won't ask you too much about yourself because we did that a little bit last night. But
keep going.
No, right? We always talk about cheese, right? It gets the ratings to go up when you talk about cheese. So you were telling me off air yesterday you had chicken burritos yesterday, and there's going to be chicken quesadilla today. I mean, are you still doing all of the clucker Mexican meals or what?
Not burrito. Fajitas. Fajitas was last night. Quesadillas is tonight after the show.
Okay.
But keep it straight, Mike. Keep it straight. I have only 4 or 5 nights a week. I don't chicken every night for dinner. Just 4 or 5 nights a week.
Just 4 or 5 nights a week. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. So, we're going to get into some of this stuff here. We're going to do a lot of stuff as far as tonight goes, but we can't do a whole lot until we give our fans what they've all came here to listen to, the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, buddy. We already got one comment. I'll put it up on the board in a second. It's from a familiar person, and a few little. Oh,
Matt LaFleur. LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is the first person to comment, and he says,
"Winner, chicken dinner."
Right. Always. It's nice to be a winner, and it's nice to get chicken dinner, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here in just a few moments, we are going to do the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. We'll do that countdown. We'll explain exactly what it is. We're not going to do a whole lot of topic today, but we are going to get really deep into one college football topic. We're going to talk about everything surrounding Kyle Whittingham. We'll explain who he is, what's going on with that in a moment. We'll explain and talk about the secondary ticket market. And then we'll talk about John Calipari. We'll do all of that here in a few moments. The MLB 4-pitch talk. Again, not a whole lot going on in baseball right at the moment. So we're going to look at some StatCast. There we go. Hitting statistics. We'll define them, and then we'll rank a few things about them once we get to our MLB segment as well. So, man, we got a lot to do. And then, of course, Cheese, we'll have to wait in suspense and see what Cheese is going to do as far as the NFL segment. So we'll keep that in suspense here for a few moments, right? Will be fantastic. We haven't even started talking about sports yet, Cheese. We're already up over 50 people with us, like boom, right off the bat. So, hey, thank you guys for all of that. We certainly appreciate it. And let me talk about our YouTube channel for a moment. Cheese, what does everybody do on a YouTube channel? Go for it, buddy.
So what you need to do is you need to subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and hit the button that looks like this, the thumbs up button. That's what you need to do. So if you are watching on YouTube, yes, subscribe to either one of our channels so you never miss one of our videos. You never know. We can do a watch long or do a special.
Yes, of course, our YouTube is All Gloves Off Sports Media. It's where you find us at. And Cheese, where do they find you on YouTube, buddy?
It's at Football with Cheese spelled like Cheez-It. And today I did a video breaking down Stephon Diggs and the situation with the Patriots. So yes, make sure you subscribe.
Right. We will talk about that here in a moment. We'll also do a couple other things from videos that you've done here recently, especially one that we'll do the very last question on the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. Hopefully you get those done within the first 5 minutes so we can continue to talk about that, because I got some things I'd like to talk about as far as what you spoke about in that video as well. We'll get to that here shortly. First of all, I do want to tell you all, and I want to thank you guys for going to our YouTube and for doing everything with us. We've got over 10,000 views in the last 7 days on our YouTube channel between our shows and our shorts. So we appreciate that. Of course, we've got the Lights Out Sports podcast, you've got the Red Hot Reds podcast, and you've got Football with Cheese, all available on our spot collectively, which is All Gloves Off Sports Media on YouTube. Thank you guys very much for all of that. We've got a couple of got a bunch of highs going on again. There we go.
Hello.
Yeah. This is the
hi.
This is the thing at the beginning of the show, I guess. We're all high, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Oh wait, I can't say that. I'm gonna get myself fired.
You might get drug tested tomorrow.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Hello. Hi.
All kinds of stuff. All right. Hellos and highs and hellos and yeah. All right.
Okay.
It's called a podcast. It's the Lights Out Sports podcast. That's what we're doing today. And all of you are invited to stay with us.
Anyone? No one's saying fire Matt LaFleur? Okay.
Well, not yet.
If I wasn't on the podcast and just watching, that's what I would type. But
Right. All right, buddy. So let's explain the 5, Flamin' 5 and 5, because that's what's about to happen here. So we're going to give Cheese 5 minutes. We're going to surround him with flames. They're going to continue to grow higher and higher as the clock ticks lower and lower. And then, as long as he can answer everything within the 5 minutes, it's all going to go out. But if it doesn't, he'll burst into flames, and then I got to do the rest of this show by myself. Before we do it,
it's only death.
It's no big deal. Everybody's got to do it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do it, we gotta give us the 3 worst words in sports. You ready?
No, I think I know one that you're going to say. Go ahead. Oh, God. That's just mean. That is just mean. Oh, yeah. I was talking to my sister, and I said, if I ever say LaFleur is the coach of the year, you know someone's got a gun pointed at me. You notice to call the police.
Right.
That's what I say.
The code word,
yes,
right?
That's the code word. Yes.
Oh, shoot. All right, that's my buddy. That's one of my coworkers. He's just poking the bear. He's putting another hole in the cheese over here.
It was funny. It was
good. All right. We appreciate all of you guys who are commenting and do so here on the Lights Out Sports podcast. We do have the live chat going all the time. And the other thing we've got going on, of course, is the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 Cheese.
Okay. Yes.
Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. 1 MLB, 2 college football, 2 NFL. Let's start off with the MLB. Starting pitcher of the Brewers, Freddie Peralta, has reportedly decided that he will not pitch in the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
This was the decision. This was his decision, not the Brewers' decision. So do you have a problem with a player saying no instead of his team saying no to him participating in the World Baseball Classic? Here we go.
Good for him. He can do whatever he wants. Yeah. If he doesn't want to play it, he shouldn't. Did you say he's Puerto Rican? Or Dominican or?
I didn't mention his race because I don't know what it is.
Okay. I think he's either Puerto Rican or Dominican, but the thing with Peralta, he's a free agent end of the year, and he probably wants to focus on that, make sure he stays healthy. And no, I have no problem. He has every right to not want to play in that if he doesn't want to. It's a meaningless thing. I don't like the Classic. It's not. I don't think it's the Olympics at all. It's exhibition, and he's probably focused on helping the Brewers win another division, which they probably will. They'll pull some magic out of hat. They somehow always do it.
Don't they though? It's weird, but they somehow do.
It's annoying.
Comments. We'll look at those here in a minute when we're done with the 5 flaming 5 and 5. So just so y'all know, the Big Ten is 5-0. The Big 12 is 2-0 in bowl games, while the SEC is 2-4 in their bowl games so far. Does this mean that the Big Ten and the Big 12 have a better middle range of teams than the SEC?
No, bowl games are meaningless. Missouri didn't show up against Virginia. Like a bunch of players, like were probably transferring or didn't want to play. It's meaningless. Tennessee's losing to Illinois right now. Bowl games, it's exhibition. So I don't think you can take that into account in how good a conference is.
Okay. Third, we're already on the third question. We still got, gosh, over 3 minutes left, but one of these is going to take you a minute. So we'll
okay.
It's going to be good.
Okay.
Here's the third one. Back to the NFL. Derrick Henry now has the most 200-yard rushing games in the NFL with 7. Until that game with the Ravens, or excuse me, not with the Ravens. He plays for the Ravens, but before that game the other night that they played, he was tied with O.J. Simpson and Adrian Peterson. So here's your exercise. Give me those 3 quarterbacks, 1, 2, and 3. Derrick Henry, O.J. Simpson, and Adrian Peterson.
I don't think they play quarterback.
Okay, running back, all right?
By the way, did O.J. ever find the real killer before he died? I don't know if he ever found the real killers.
I don't think so. He couldn't find anybody that the gloves fit on, so I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe I should look into that because he's passed away now. Number 3 is Adrian Peterson. He's a great runner. He's a terrible catcher of the ball. Won't pick up the blitz. He wanted nothing to do with that aspect of the game. Unbelievable runner, but he has to be third.
Okay.
1, 2. That's so tough.
I know.
I mean, I know O.J. Simpson was amazing. I didn't see him, though. And I've seen Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's had some unbelievable years with bad offensive lines. So I would actually slightly put Derrick Henry, especially nowadays when longevity is so hard for running back. What he's doing and still playing at that level is pretty remarkable. So slightly ahead of O.J., I'll put Derrick Henry. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Penn State, sir. You have to concentrate on this one because I don't have a graphic because of the flames here. So Penn State's Big Ten schedule, they play home against Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, USC, and Wisconsin. That's their home schedule. All those teams at home. Their away schedule, this is Penn State's schedule for this upcoming season. Their away schedule is Maryland, Michigan, Northwestern, and Washington. All right? No real tough teams in there, really, except for maybe Michigan and USC. Can Penn State vie for the title this upcoming season with how much of a mess they've been in so far?
Yeah, absolutely they can. They still have a talented roster. I don't know if they lost transfers. I try not to follow the transfer portal, but over 3,000 players that entered the portal, so you can't really follow it. But yeah, I think they can. They underachieved this year. They're not really losing a lot to the NFL draft like they had in previous years, but that's unbelievable. No Oregon, no Ohio State, no Indiana. I mean, that's the easiest schedule I could possibly, if any Power 4 team has to be. Yeah, USC and Michigan, but they're not top 10 teams. They're ranked. That's it. And those teams could be really good, but they could also lose 4 games. So that schedule is just, that's not good. These conferences are too big because you shouldn't have a schedule that easy. And barely did.
Well, here's the problem. You didn't barely do it because you were thinking wrong. That was only the 4th question. There's another question left.
Oh, no. I thought we were done.
No, we were not done. It's okay. I wondered if you were stalling a little bit, and I'm thinking, stop stalling, man. I got another question. Stop stalling.
Oh, I thought that was the last one.
That's all right. I want to talk about this one for a second, so we'll just make it like an extra thing. It's like extra credit for
I didn't burn, so that's good. You stopped it before I died.
I did. I couldn't let you burn, man. I couldn't do that to you. So Maxx Crosby, this is what I want to talk about here for a moment. You did a video about Maxx Crosby. Again, I know we got some comments. Let me do this part of the segment, and then we'll get to those comments that we've got over there. So I understand that Max Crosby wants to play, and I understand that the Raiders want that number one pick, or they wanted that number one pick for that game, and that they don't want to risk further injury to Crosby. But who should be more upset with that decision not to play him, Max or the fans?
Max should be more upset. The fans want the first pick. But I see his side. He wants to play. He loves football. He signed an extension in March. Apparently he needs all-season surgery, and I guess they don't want to hurt it worse. But he says he's healthy enough to play. Just because he needs all-season surgery doesn't mean he can't play now. It's just kind of a mess, and we know they're acting like we're doing it for him. We're doing it for Max and his future and all that. But we know they're trying to lose. He's their best defensive player. They are trying to get the first pick. We know, and this is a problem. And this is why I think you need a lottery. Every other professional sports team has a lottery, except the NFL. And what if you end up with a quarterback that can throw like Aaron Rodgers, that has the mind of Peyton Manning, has athleticism, Michael Vick? What if you have that? Every single team that's not good is going to tell their coaches, every owner, you better lose every game. And that's a problem. That you never know. We might get a quarterback like that. So I think Max should be more upset. I think the fans should not be upset. I think the fans should be happy not to play him and make sure they lose. And they're going against a third-string quarterback with the Chiefs. So if they do not, they could blow the first pick if they win.
All right, I want to take a little bit of a different angle on this because I'm a little upset. Well, I'm a lot upset, actually, at Max Crosby himself. I'm sure you've seen the Instagram photos and videos that he's been putting up, basically mocking the team, saying, "Look, I can play basketball, I can play football, I can bounce on a trampoline with my kids. I can do this, I can do that." I just don't like what he's doing there, but I also don't like what I really, really don't like, and this is where I really want to get your opinion on it here. I don't like the fact that he just up and left the team. I don't like him because it seems like he's bailing out on his teammates right now. You can stand on the sideline, Cheese. We've seen it all kinds of different aspects of different kinds of games, not just football, but basketball and baseball and everything else. You can be in the dugout. You can be, sitting on the sideline or whatever, and you can still teach. You can still encourage. You can still mentor, and you can still kind of guide the people from the sidelines. And because he just completely up and left the building, he's not doing any of that for his teammates. I know he's upset, but I don't like the fact that he just bailed and gave up on his teammates. What do you think about that aspect of this story?
Yeah, he did come back. Apparently, he did eventually come back. I don't know if it was a day or two later, but he did come back. But yeah, I don't like that. I can see his side, though. He wants to play, and he knows why they're doing it. But putting it on Instagram, alienated himself from the team. Mm-hmm. It's not good. And if anything, the NFL might investigate this for tanking. If anything, he might actually hurt his team. And maybe he's just trying to force a trade, but it's almost an untradeable contract because he just signed an extension in March. So when you trade someone who just signed a big extension, the dead cap hit is so big, you really can't trade them. So I don't know what his game plan is. The thing, he's done some things in the past that have been shitty. Like he held the Raiders hostage, basically said, "I don't want to play for this team. I want to trade unless you keep Antonio Pierce," who was the interim head coach at the time. He was the coach last year. Did not go well, got fired. But he threatened the team. He needs to be the coach because he has a relationship with them. Well, the team should have said, "Go to hell." It's just not your decision. We're doing what's best for the team. And because he's so good, he has that power, and I don't like that.
Right. It's not like it's Max Crosby's Raiders. I mean, it's the Las Vegas Raiders, for God's sake. So he shouldn't be able to hold them hostage or anything else. We've said it. It's a sports cliche, but the team is bigger than one person, whether it be guy, gal, or whatever it is, right? So I just don't like what Max is doing here, and I like Max a lot, actually. He's done and said some things that I really respect and everything else, but not right now. I don't like what he's doing, and I just wanted to talk about it a second. And I wanted to make sure that everybody also understood that you just did a really nice video on it over on your channel and stuff. Let's plug that thing one more time, buddy. You're where?
It's at Football with Cheese.
Okay.
Cheez. And yeah, I respect him. I mean, he loves football. He wants to win. He wants to play. I respect that. But the way he's handling this, he's just going to alienate his teammates, alienate himself from the organization. Maybe that's his plan. But yeah, he's not handling the situation very well.
All right. So, you brought it up one more time. I'm going to go ahead and ask you then, will Max Crosby be a Raider next season?
Yes.
Just because that contract is so untradeable.
The contract, and also we talked about this with Trey Hendrickson, with Micah Parsons. You just cannot get value for an elite pass rusher. Like the Cowboys got 2 first-round picks. That's not enough. But for Parsons, it's not, because their defense wasn't great with them. It's a terrible defense. So you're better off just keeping him and trying to build around the team and win.
All right. Well, fans, we want to tell you Happy New Year, right? It is almost 2025 is almost over. We're getting ready to go into 2026. We have had, myself and Cheese both, I know from our different accounts and our social medias and stuff, we've had a really great couple of weeks. We appreciate you guys really jumping on board with us here at the end of the year, and we hope that it continues into the beginning and all the way through 2026. So without further ado, why don't we do college football spread offense? Everybody, we'll turn that down in the background just a little bit as we continue to speak over top of it. But I tell you what, I am really, really excited to get into this big first topic here. Usually I have like 4 points on a topic, and I've got like A, B, C, and D.
87. You have 87. No.
Right, I do. I have so many. So
it's an important topic.
Yeah, I've got A through M that we are going to look at here as far as this topic, which is everything surrounding Kyle Whittingham leaving Utah, going to Michigan. There's so much to unpack here. We'll talk about the ticket market for the college football playoffs. And then I've got to get everything ready here on the side. I'll have the phone with me here. I did not upload it. I couldn't figure out how to do it because, Mr. Technologically Unadvanced over here needs to talk to a couple of our guys, Ricky or Roger or somebody like that, and figure out exactly how to upload these videos. So you'll get the gist of it from the sound, but we will talk about John Calipari and what he said about the transfer portal and how it needs to be fixed. So, Chiefs, I know yesterday when we were talking about on our special, which, by the way, if you haven't got a chance to watch it, you can certainly see it over on our YouTube channel. It was the preview show for the 4 college football playoff games. We gave our predictions. We dove into each one of those. It was right at an hour long, a little over an hour. And we've also put some shorts up from that. So people have responded to both of those really, really well. We appreciate it. But if you haven't yet, you can go over to our YouTube channel. Cheese, hit them with it, buddy. Tell them what it is.
It's YouTube is All Gloves Off SM. All Gloves Off SM. And make sure you give it a thumbs up. You subscribe, hit the bell. If you're on X, make sure you like and repost it as well if you're watching on X.
All right. I put Cheese on the spot there. I apologize.
No, I got it.
The X account is All Gloves Off SM, and the YouTube account is All Gloves Off Sports Media. So,
Okay, close enough. It would have come up probably.
Yeah, no big deal. We'll get
and this
there.
is the Lights Out podcast. This is Lights Out Sports.
It is the Lights Out Sports podcast. He's got that one right. And if you look at his videos,
finally,
it's a great little graphic at the bottom. So I'm sure he's got that all down pat. But let's get into our college football spread offense. We've got the 3 topics. The main one here will be the Kyle Whittingham. So he was the head football coach at Utah for 21 seasons. Do you think anyone will ever come close to that? 21 seasons in one place?
It's rare. It'll happen. It's never going to be like a powerhouse team or a team that's always in the top 15 every year, like a Notre Dame or Ohio State. It's never going to be one of those. But Yeah, I think it can still happen. Real quick trivia, do you know who he replaced? Do you know who was the coach before him at Utah?
I should, because I really did a ton of research on this, but obviously you must know the answer. You wouldn't ask the question, so go ahead and give it to me.
Urban Meyer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Urban Meyer.
very interesting.
And no, but I mean, I think there's a few coaches that have been at there longer, but
yeah, we'll get to a few of the coaches.
It's rare, and I think he's 66 years old. I think he thought he was going to retire there, probably, and then this job came up.
Yeah, which is one of the big things that we'll get into here. So he started with Utah in 1994 as the D-line coach. He then became their head coach in 2005. His head coaching record is a 177, which, by the way, is a school record, 177 wins. And so he's 177 and 88. In bowl games, he's 11-6. He's won 1 Mountain West title, 2 Pac-12 titles, but that's it. So he's had a long tenure, but geez, would you consider that 21 years at Utah a success?
I know you probably won't, but yeah, because he's still there. I think that's commendable. Like he's done enough to keep his job for that long. And winning those back-to-back Pac-12 titles, I think those were the first 2 years they were in the Pac-12. That was really impressive. Went from the Mountain West, goes to the Pac-12. I think he's done a really good job, Utah, especially the last 5 or 6 years. So yeah, I'd say it's a success. You disagree?
Yeah, I am going to disagree. I mean, just because you've been there for a long time doesn't mean you were good there. It might mean something like we couldn't find anybody else we liked better. Or you've been here for so long, shoot, we'll just keep the contract going. Or he's not done a ton. Now football was different back then. I mean, it's 21 years is when he started with the team. So it's really hard to compare what football is today to what football was then when he started this coaching, and even when he was in the midterm of his coaching. But to only have 1 Mountain West title in 2008, and then he had 2 Pac-12 titles. They were not. Oh yes, they were back to back. You're 100% right. 2021 and 2022. 21 years and having 3 division titles where you were at. I'm just not sure you can count that as successful.
Well, he went 10-2 this year. 5-7 the year before. He didn't have a quarterback. Offense was bad, but he's won 10 games in 3 of the last 5 years.
Okay.
But you got to think a lot of those years he didn't win the Mountain West. I believe Boise State was like really good. They had a stretch where they were just always winning the conference.
That's true.
So yeah, you'd think he would have won more. He went 13-0 in 2008, but they didn't have a playoff back then. So
right, and that's what I mean. Football was different back then. So even if you did win, even if you were really successful, it's not celebrated like it is now. You because you're successful, you got maybe a bowl game or something like that. And then, as we've already spoke, he was in the Mountain West forever, and he was in the Pac-12. Neither one of those divisions are considered great. Not even the Pac-12. That's why it became the Pac-2 this past season. So
yeah, he only had 3 losing seasons in 21 years, so that's impressive too.
Okay, you know what? I'll give him that. 3 losing.
And they were all 5-7, so he never. 5 was the worst year he did. 3, 5, and 7 years. Okay,
all right. You're convincing me a little bit here that maybe it's not hugely successful, but it's still relatively successful. I'll give him relatively successful. So okay. A couple other coaches that we probably need to talk about here. Iowa's Kirk. Oh man,
Ferentz.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Who has been with them for 27 years. He's been at Iowa for 27 years. He's got 2 Big Ten championships in 2002 and 2004. His overall record is 224 and 119, and in bowl games, he's 10-11. He has the all-time wins in the Big Ten and the all-time losses in the Big Ten. So,
goes to a long time.
Yes, that's because his tenure has been so long. 27 years with Iowa. Not all of those as a head coach, but 27 years at Iowa. Let's also say and throw in the name Mike Gundy, who was fired after a 21-season coaching tenure at Oklahoma State just this year. His overall record, 170-90, and he was 12-6 in bowl games. One more name. Troy Calhoun. He's currently the longest because Mike Gundy was let go. So he's currently the longest tenured coach right at the moment. He is at Air Force, and he has been with that team as a coach since 1989. He's been the head coach since 2007. His record, 139-97, 8-5 in bowl games. So here's what I'm going to ask you. Kirk, Mike, and Troy, is it a thing that all these long tenured guys are just only mildly successful, or am I being too hard on these coaches, Cheese?
Well, you got to think Air Force, Utah, Iowa. If you win 8 games and go to a bowl, 8 or 9 games, you're going to keep your job. That's just the way it is. It's not, if you do that at Ohio State or Notre Dame 2 years in a row, you're fired. Penn State, you can make the Final Four of the college football playoff. The next year, you get off to a bad start. Bye. What have you done for us lately? Those jobs, it doesn't have the same expectations, and that's why they're there. And Kirk Ferentz, I just looked him up. 1 losing season in the last 25 years. 1. That's really good. He always seems to have Iowa ranked. And a lot of years, at least he pulls off some big upset. They almost beat Oregon this year. They led the game late. So I think he's been successful. And I'll tell you what, about more than any coach, I trust Iowa players from where the consensus board. If I was the GM, I would move every single one up, do my board, and then, take every Iowa player, move about 5-10 spots. Because they have so many players that just don't bust in the NFL, so many of their players.
Yeah, I do have to say, I think it's Sunday Night Football, I believe, that does it, where they introduce themselves at the bottom of the screen and they say their name and what school they're from. I hear Iowa a lot. I have to say, It seems like, I keep waiting Ohio State, or I keep waiting for Alabama, and it seems like I hear Iowa quite a bit.
And there are some busts, of course, but most of them work out, and most of them get underdrafted. Cooper DeJean was in the second round. That's just crazy. Sam Laporta, second round. They have so many good offensive linemen as well. It just seems like he gets them ready. He makes them successful pros, Kirk Ferentz. So I always respected that.
All right, so we're going to talk about his contract here in a second, but I want to ask you this. We're kind of building. We're gonna circle the wagons here at the end. We're only on C. We got to get all the way to M here, so there's a lot to unpack here. Has the transfer portal also changed the way coaching contracts are done? In other words, Cheese, would you, with this new system, and not just the players going into the portal, but almost seemingly the head coaches going into a portal type system too, would you ever give a new head coach more than a 5-year contract?
That is a great question. I want to get your take in a second. But I'll say this. Coaches can just leave, though. That's one thing about contracts. You can't just do that in the NFL. But in college, you can leave if you get a better job offer, or you just want a different job. You can just leave and go to college. So I don't think the coaching contract makes a huge difference. Would I do more than 5-year? If they had proven themselves at a different university, I probably would. If they're a coordinator first, no. But I might actually, just because it will help recruiting. If you say, okay, he's going to be your 6-7 year contract, they'll be there because you could say 5 years now. They're going to be there the whole time you're there. So it can help recruiting. So I might actually.
All right. So we'll talk MLB in a moment. I will throw this out there. I saw it earlier. We've got it up on our X account. If you haven't seen it, Anthony Rendon is no longer an Angel. The last year of his contract was bought out, and they spread it out. Instead of it being one huge payment at the end, they spread it out over 3 years, which gives the Angels a little bit more money to spend now. It'll be interesting how they spend that money. We'll talk about – go ahead, sir.
I just want one real quick thing about Anthony Rendon.
Sure.
In case you brought him up, I had this ready.
Okay.
$245 million contract.
Yes.
Okay, he signed. He has 22 home runs as an Angel. That means he got paid $11 million a home run for the Angels.
Yeah. Another one of those, how many bad contracts have the Angels signed? I mean,
they have 3 of the worst 5 in MLB history. Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols, those were just disasters. These Pujols had 3 or 4 good years, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think Hamilton probably got them some money because of his fame when he first signed that contract. He was the next big thing. So they went out and got him and they signed him, and I'm sure he put butts in seats. But I don't know. This Anthony Rendon contract might take the cake, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of put that up here. We'll talk about a few different things in between some of what we're doing here in this college football spread offense topic when we talk Kyle
Real
Whittingham.
quick, would you give more than a 5-year contract to a coach?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'd give a 5-year contract, but I've been this way for a while. I don't give people there's two things in contracts that I just don't do. We've never really talked about this. Maybe we'll do a show on contracts and how I look at it. Number one, I never give anyone more than 5 years ever. I don't care what kind of. I'm not giving the greatest player. I'm not giving the best pitcher. I'm not giving the best hitter. I'm not giving Myles Garrett one of the the best defenders. I'm not giving Tom Brady one and his. No, I'm still not doing it. Just because you never know what's going to happen. 5 years is a long time. And then the second thing that I'm not doing is I'm not paying today for what you've done yesterday. One of the biggest ones I'll give you is, because it's kind of a thing right here in town, the Arizona Diamondbacks got absolutely slaughtered when they wouldn't re-up Paul Goldschmidt. But Paul Goldschmidt wanted big money now for what he did earlier in his career. I don't do that. I'll pay you based on what I think you're going to give me performance-wise moving forward, but I'm not going to pay you just because you've been great the last 4 or 5 years. I already paid you for that. I'm not paying you for that twice.
Yeah, you must hate those 10, 11-year contracts in baseball.
I do.
Paul Goldschmidt, he only had one really good year after he left Arizona.
Right.
He fell off a cliff after that.
He absolutely did. Now, they're looking at re-signing him right now, actually, but that role would be different. They've got a young kid that they put at first base, and he's more of a mentor type. And, they sign him to a 1 or 2 year smaller contract. That's fine. I just don't want to pay him, 10 or 11, or not 10 or 11 at that point, but maybe 5 or 6 years at a hefty price just because of what he did 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not doing that.
I get it. Not re-signing Christian Walker was also smart for Arizona.
It actually was. It
was really smart. He's not.
A lot of people were like, "Oh no," but if you looked at his age and everything else, you factored everything into it.
Yeah.
Teams like Arizona, teams like Cincinnati. I mean, your Cubs over there. They don't necessarily have to worry about it because it seems like they've got a little more money than some of the other teams. But a lot of these, I don't want to call them bottom feeder teams, but we'll say the bottom 15 teams in the league have to watch these contracts they do because one bad contract can sink them.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about contracts here, right? So at age 66, Kyle Whittingham signed a 5-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Should Michigan fans be weary because he signed a 5-year contract at age 66?
I would not be happy necessarily if I'm a Michigan fan. A 66-year-old coach, you want someone that's going to be here longer. But this is his last stop, though. So I don't think he'll go anywhere else. That's the one good thing. Because he's 66, this is it. This is his last stop, no matter what, whether he gets fired or not, probably. But, I'd be wary. Let's be honest. He was not their first choice. He wasn't their second choice. They were not planning on making a coaching change.
Right.
Sharon Brown, was that his name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Moore.
Sharon Moore, whatever. I've already forgotten. He had all the you know what happened. If you're watching,
you probably know his name, though. You don't need to, but a bunch of women do.
Yeah. He had horrible conduct, did some nasty things. And so they weren't planning on getting a new coach. And it's a little of a mess because of that. So a lot of people didn't want it. They wanted Kenny Dillingham. He decided to stay at Arizona State. There were some other coaches I'm sure they wanted that didn't want the job. So I'm sure he wasn't even a top 5 choice. But at some point, they had to get somebody, though. So he was – and I'm sure he insisted on a 5-year deal. That's just my guess to leave. Because, okay, I'll come to Michigan. I'm 66, though, but I want at least a 5-year security. I'm sure he asked for that. And they had no choice but to give it to him.
Yeah. So what we know, it's great because we're going to talk about all of this here, guys. This is going to be a great topic here. We're only about halfway through. Actually, not quite halfway. Let me give you some names, guys. Mac Brown, Bill Belichick, Brian Kelly, Gus Malzahn, right? All of those guys are older guys that didn't work out. So what, if anything, is different about Whittingham that Michigan fans can get behind?
Bill Belichick 73. North Carolina, that was just a desperate move. I mean, I guess he could still turn around, but it was a disaster. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, Mac Brown, God, what is North Carolina doing? There were some Michigan fans that wanted Brian Kelly, but yeah, it's not a sexy hire. It's not a sexy hire, and you're gonna have to, for them, the fans, you got to beat Ohio State, and it's they're not going to be favoring that game next year, not at all.
No, and they shouldn't be.
No. So
let's go over the actual contract details then. So it's a 5-year deal. It averages $8.2 million per season, and it totals $41 million. But it only has 75% of it guaranteed. So he gets $8 million this year, and then I won't go through all the years or whatever, but blah blah blah. It goes up, and then he'll get him to the 41. In 2004 he made 6.5. And in 2025, he made $6.9 million, just kind of as the comparison for the two. So, Cheese, here's my question for you. Did Michigan give Kyle Whittingham a contract that was more than he deserved?
I mean, they had to give him more than he made at Utah. You have to try to get him away from there. So, I don't know. I think everybody's overpaid. That's insane for a coach, but
it's true.
But that's just what they had to do, unfortunately, circumstances. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Do you think he's got too overpaid?
Yes. I mean, I understand it. I do. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can here, but the entire time I was doing all this, I'm like, God, Michigan, you're so stupid. And I'm going to type out this next question. And gosh, you guys are dumb. And, I was going through all of this. So I think this, though, I've kind of built everything to this point, and I can't wait to ask you this question. How much does a good reputation cost, especially to a team like Michigan that desperately needs one?
Yeah, they had to get a coach that has no controversy. After Jim Harbaugh left, he was going to probably be, suspended for a while.
And then he ran away, basically.
He ran away, and it was perfect timing. He won the national title, and there were lots of pro teams looking at him. And then Sherrone Moore with all his horniness. So they needed someone with high character who has not had any issues. So it's really important at times. At times you can take a swing on someone that may in the past have had issues, but Michigan could not. So they needed someone like Kyle Whittingham.
Okay, so let's look at it from the other standpoint, right? So we've looked at it kind of from Michigan's fans and all of that. But what about from Whittingham's standpoint? Do you blame him for wanting a shot at what a lot of people would call a blue blood school where he can get a higher payday? Do you blame him for this, even at 66 years old?
I don't blame him for this. I'm a little surprised. He could probably stay at Utah until he retired when he's ready to retire. But I think what he's thinking is, I don't think I can win a national title at Utah. I just won 10 games. That might be the best I can do.
Okay. I would kind of agree with that statement.
But I have 5 years. Maybe I can win a national title, and then I'll retire. So I think this is his only chance. If he turns this down, I doubt at 67 he's going to get another opportunity. He only got this opportunity, like I just said earlier, because other people didn't want it, and it's a mess. So, yeah, he's just trying to win a national title, and it's easier to recruit at Michigan than Utah.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned recruiting here, because that's what the next thing is going to be here. Do you think he might be in over his head as far as he goes to a living room and he's talking to the parents, and maybe the parents are like, yeah, that sounds great. I like this guy, and he's this or he's that, but will he actually connect with the kids? And will those kids want to come play for him at Michigan, especially because of his age and things like that? Do you think he can connect with kids and get them to come play in Michigan?
I think so. I mean, it's an unknown. That's an absolute unknown. We don't know. But I think Michigan can sell itself, the university. So I don't see that as being a big issue. What do you think?
I don't know, man. This is the whole reason I was bringing this up, because I do. I mean, shoot, we just had the holidays and stuff, and I try to be the nice person and go around the room to all the different relatives that I have at the house and talk to them for a moment, and hey, how you been, and blah blah blah. But man, a lot of the kids, when I get to them, I used to be able to talk stuff with them, and now, man, they say things that I don't know what they mean. They're talking about this and they're talking about that, and I'm just like, okay, I have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm kind of getting out of touch with them. So I'm afraid.
Are you saying you're out of touch, Mike? Are you out of touch with the young crowd?
Yeah,
Gen Z.
Right, with whatever generation this is right at the moment. I mean, I usually use sports as my get out of jail free card, but
Me too.
It doesn't always work. So I wonder. I wonder if he's going to have the same. Winningham is going to have the same problem when he's sitting in a room with a kid, some 17, 18-year-old kid that he's trying to bring into his university, and he's trying to convince them, I'm the guy for you. There are very few of those kids that I had over here on the holidays that they were going to go, oh yeah, I like Uncle Mike. He's good. They're going to be like, no, get away from me, you creepy old man. Hang on, let me go back to my phone. So
it's funny you think that Kyle Whittingham is the same as you. I'm just kidding.
Well, he's had about the same success.
Just kidding.
No,
but I get what you're saying. It's possible. It's very possible. It's Michigan though, so that's what he's going to probably try to sell. The university.
That's true. I mean, it is Michigan. As much as I don't like it, it is Michigan.
Yeah.
So, how schools kind of always hire the opposite after they fire a coach. When they hire a player's manager after they fire a disciplinarian, right? Or they hire an offensive guru after firing a defensive guru. And do you think Michigan kind of did the same thing by hiring Whittingham after Harbaugh and Moore?
Yeah, I do. I think they needed someone that had no controversy, no issues, someone that, they don't have to worry about, because the last two, there were issues. And to say the least. I absolutely do.
All right, so Whittingham said he wanted to keep coaching at Utah, but he felt kind of a nudge towards the door. I'm not sure how many of the articles that you've read on him, mainly because the university was not sure how long defensive coordinator, his name is Morgan, I believe it's Scaly, they didn't know how long he would wait, and they didn't want to lose him. This is an interesting quote from Whittingham himself. I'll give you this quote, and then I'll ask you what you think it means. He said, "I do not want to be the guy who overstayed his welcome with people saying, hey, when's this guy going to leave?" That's what he told the Salt Lake Tribune last week. He says, "This was not my intention ever, and I hope I didn't do that. I'm sure with some people I did that, but to me, this timing was right." What do you think about that quote?
I don't necessarily believe that. Overstay his welcome. He's saying Utah, he overstayed his welcome. Is that what you're getting at it?
That's kind of what he said. Like, I think he was kind of meaning it as, I'm blocking another really good coach.
That's not why he took it. He didn't take the job because he's blocking coach. He felt bad about blocking. He took it for a better opportunity. So I think that's a total cop-out. I don't believe that for a second.
I do too. It's like, stop selling it. Especially, come on. You got to remember, he was talking to the Salt Lake Tribune when he was saying all this, right? So he's trying to leave Utah on a good note and all of this kind of thing. But you don't need to. Stop lying.
Yeah, that's not why he left it all. Money and the chance to maybe win a national title. That's it.
So I want to talk about this too. I understand he's 66. I understand he's been coaching for a long, long time. But let me ask you this. I think this is an interesting aspect of this whole thing. Do you think going to a Big Ten school with almost unlimited resources will actually invigorate an older coach to do really well these last 5 years of his tenure?
Maybe, but just his personality. I know him at Utah, his press conferences. I don't think he's just got that personality. So I don't know if it'll invigorate him. It's possible. He's going to have more resources, more money, more, he's going to have flights to go recruit, That's one thing. Jim
Harbaugh personal car and drive, and
yes,
get in his personal jet and go.
Yeah. That's what Jim Harbaugh insisted, that he had a jet to fly to go to Florida and Georgia and try to get SEC kids to come to the Big Ten, to come to Michigan. So he'll have more resources.
That's the difference, though, right? That's the difference in a Utah and a Michigan. That's the difference.
Yeah, and Utah can go 10-2, and they don't make the college football playoff. Michigan goes 10-2, they're probably the 6th seed, So, yeah.
And that's the other side of it. So, this will be an interesting hire. I'm really interested. We got a couple more points here to get to, but I'm really interested how this is all going to unfold over the next few years. So, you've got athletic director. I believe it's Ward Manuel. It's Worde. I still think I'm going to say it's pronounced Ward Manuel. Sure. He did do the lead in this coaching search. Michigan has hired a law firm, though, to conduct an independent review of its athletic department. And given what he has gone on in Michigan over the last 2 head coaching tenures, both under Manuel's watch, I would think that Michigan will dismiss him sometime soon. And here's the question, knowing all of this, will that be a good thing for the new Michigan football coach, or do you think it'll be a bad thing for the new Michigan football coach?
Well, I don't know him. I don't follow all the Michigan athletics, just the football team. Jim Harbaugh was a no-brainer hire. He was a successful NFL coach. So hiring him made a ton of sense. It changed they got off to a little slow start, but it really changed Michigan because they were in a bad spot. And Sherrone Moore, he obviously didn't know about that stuff. And if he did, then he should definitely be fired. But I don't necessarily think they need to get rid of him unless there's some bad conduct, because he did hire Whittingham. I would want the person to hire me. I wouldn't want to bring in somebody else, right after they hire me. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic here. That's kind of why I went with this. The athletic director, in my opinion, has got to get canned. There's no way he can go through and what can he say? Because it's already been brought out that he knew at least somewhat that was going on with Moore. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The timing was, some people will say terrible and some people will say great, depending on if you're a Michigan fan or not. So he had to know at least something was going on because they pushed it back and, the whole timing with everything. We talked about it.
We talked about they pushed it back until after signing day. I'm sure on purpose. Apparently, right. They did an investigation weeks before, but of course, they waited. Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah. But most universities will do that, though. It's not just – we can't just say, Michigan. A lot of teams, if they had done it week before, they would have lost probably half their class. So I kind of get it. I kind of get it, but still it was kind of dirty. And if any player wanted out, they should let them.
Right.
Because of a coaching change.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a little bit once we get to the John Calipari thing. That's a nice segue for that. I should have timed that a little better. But here's the last point, right? After everything we've talked about in this segment, which has been a lot, all right, the bottom line is that both Harbaugh and Moore won. One ran from obvious allegations, and the other was willing to absolutely just ruin his career. Yet when he did so, he still managed to go 9-3 at Michigan. So it's like a 3-part question, but it'll be the last thing I ask you as far as the Kyle Whittingham part, and then we're going to move on to the tickets for the college football playoffs. So here we go, Chiefs. Will it be easier for Whittingham to win at Michigan as compared to Utah? That's 1. Can he do it? 2, can he win there? And how long will it take him to get into the college football playoff at Michigan? So can he do it as compared to Utah? Or, can he do it? Will it be easier as compared to Utah? And how long will it take him to get to the college football playoff?
Well, you mentioned Sherrone Moore. You said he had success. I don't think he did. 9-3 is not acceptable for Michigan. They expect to be in the playoff every year. And he won 7 games the year before. I know they lost a lot, but there were some Michigan fans on X that are actually happy that he's no longer there. Just want to say that. Will it be easier to win in Michigan? No. It's not easier necessarily. If he recruits, yes, but I think it could be rough next year. I don't know how many people will transfer. That's the thing, is we don't know how many. They might lose a lot of their starters. I don't know who's going to play quarterback either. So can he do it? I just don't know. I honestly probably not. I don't think. I wonder in 5 years he's 1-4 against Ohio State at best. And that's not acceptable. You know, Michigan, you have to beat Ohio State. Ohio State, you have to beat Michigan. And they're not in a position right now. I mean, he's going to have to recruit. He's going to have to recruit or get some transfers because they're not on the level of Ohio State right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a nice hire. It's a squeaky clean hire, which is what they needed as far as when the whole totality. It's the safe hire, right?
Safe. But that rarely works out. You know that.
Correct. That's this whole thing was kind of leading to this. I'm not sure if he can even do it. And I was going to say the same thing. 1-4 against Ohio State in the next 5 years, and that won't do it. They'll find the next new big young star and bring him in. And so I think this will just be. It's almost like a safe bridge from from Harbaugh and Moore to the next big thing. And that's just what Kyle Whittingham is. And I don't know if he should have left Utah for that.
I'm shocked. I still am shocked. Like, he could probably have just retired at Utah. And I'm still a little shocked. Just like I would have been shocked if Kenny Dillingham left Arizona State. Like that, he's pretty secure there. Like,
right.
but if you go, like, even if they give him a 5-year deal after 3 years, if he's winning 7-8 games, he's going to be fired. If he's 0-3 against Ohio State and they're 7-5 or 8-4 back-to-back years, he's not going to keep his job. The expectations are insane. If he goes 8-4 back-to-back years to Utah, he probably keeps his job.
All right, so I didn't put this in the notes, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I'll give mine first to kind of make it a little more fair because I am putting you on the spot. Will he last his entire 5-year contract? I'm going to say no. What do you think? Will he last his entire 5-year contract?
No, I don't think so.
Man, I just don't know if it was. I almost feel sorry for him now that we keep continuing to talk about this. It's like, why? What are you doing? What did you see in Michigan that you just thought, okay, that's the brass ring I want to go after, and that's how I want to go out as far as my career goes? And
yeah, it just reminds me of Butch Jones. Not the age thing, but Tennessee was a mess, and Butch Jones wasn't even like in their top 10 they were targeting. They thought they were going to get Charlie Strong. He turned him down, and then he was at Louisville at the time. And then they were kind of stuck. Then no one else, because they were in a mess. No one, all these people they reached out, and they said Butch Jones was coaching Cincinnati. They settled for him, and he had I think his second year or third year, he had one good year. That's it. But other than that, he couldn't beat Florida. He couldn't beat Alabama. It was a disaster. Couldn't beat Georgia. It was a disaster, and they didn't want to hire him. And then once they did, you have to keep him for at least 3 or 4 years, right? So that it kind of reminds me of that it might be a similar situation.
Speaking of someone who doesn't deserve another chance and continues to get chance after chance after chance, oh my gosh, did you see Northwestern today? They're hiring. I mean, you're already laughing because you know where I'm going with this segue, right? I mean, they hired Chip Kelly as their new offensive coordinator, and then they said that his expertise in varying systems and personnel was appealing to them. That means that's just a nice way of saying no matter where he went, no matter what kind of system he did, he sucked, so we like that, right?
Well, I'll say this. He has worked in the NFL, worked in college. He has done a lot of schemes. When he first went to the NFL and coached the Eagles, that first year, the offense was incredible because a lot of teams in the NFL, defense coordinators did not face that. But then the next year, everyone figured it out. They had the whole offseason, and he is really – and they figured him out, and then he was terrible after that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a name. It's a name. Maybe it's going to help recruiting. But Chip Kelly – he was terrible at UCLA. He's really never been a great coach. I don't know why people think he is.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's never been a great coach. All right, so let's get into our second topic here. I mean, for those of you who are wondering, why aren't they talking about the bowl games? Why aren't they doing, why are they doing this other stuff? Well, we did that yesterday. Oh, mug check. What's the? Oh man, I don't want to say it.
D is for defense because the defense is taking over the NFL this year, right?
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you recovered that segment because how I was going to say it, it was not going to be recoverable. So that's good. D is for defense. What's what we'll go with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like, rap song terms as far as what D would stand for. But okay. So anyway,
You're a big rap guy.
oh, I am. I used to have cornrows here, as you can tell. So
I don't believe you.
no, you don't believe me. We're about to get kicked off of YouTube. Here it comes. So
Yeah, we had a good run.
we did it. We had a good run.
I'm surprised we lasted this long without being kicked off.
Oh man! All right, so the ticket market for this round of the college football playoff. That's what we're going to look at next year.
Yeah.
Cheese, is it asking the average fan, not a college student, but the average fan, is it asking too much of them to travel to 3 different cities in a 3-week period with the ticket prices and the hotel and the food and the travel and all of that kind of stuff? I mean, I don't think people really realize, you're supposed to go support your team. Who's got that kind of money?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Most people don't. Rent is high, mortgages are higher, food is higher. Like, people don't have the money. It's absolutely ridiculous. They wanted a college football playoff, people did, but not in a situation like this with a ticket with traveling over. I mean, Oregon fans have to go to Miami. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
That's crazy. You're 100% right. So the way it stands right now, all right, I was looking at several different websites and publications and the secondary markets and all of this kind of thing for this. So the way it stands right now, it looks like the Cotton Bowl nor the Orange Bowl will actually sell out.
Crazy. Yeah.
Isn't it though? I mean, those would be on bucket lists for me. So let me give you this. Here are the current average ticket prices for the quarterfinal games. The Sugar Bowl, which is Ole Miss and Georgia, is the most expensive one, $296 on average. The Rose Bowl, which is Indiana versus Alabama, is $269. Not too much under that. The Orange Bowl comes in next. It's the Texas Tech Oregon game. And then the price drop here from $269 down to $157 for Texas Tech and Oregon at the Orange Bowl. It's beautiful weather. It's a great place to go. I don't understand. And then the Cotton Bowl is actually the lowest one with a big, huge school like Ohio State. And honestly, another really big school in Miami, right? You got 2 really good fan bases, and their ticket prices on average have dropped all the way down to $110. So let me ask you this. I'll go over the prices one more time. You tell me, if I gave you, we'll say $300, that would cover any of these tickets. Which one would you want to go to? Would you go to the Super Bowl, or excuse me, would you go to the Sugar Bowl with Ole Miss and Georgia at $296 and take almost all of that $300? Would you go to the Rose Bowl, Indiana and Alabama for the $269? The Orange Bowl that does Texas Tech and Oregon for $157, basically half of the $300 I'd give you? Or would you go and save the most amount of money for yourself to spend it on something else? Go to the Cotton Bowl and see Ohio State and Miami for $110.
Cotton Bowl, $110. There's no doubt about it.
That didn't take you long at all.
No, it's well, here's the thing. If you just look at the location, so the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss and Georgia fans can drive there. That's a huge advantage. They're going to save a ton of money not having to go with flight. The other 3 bowls, all the fans have to travel to go to Pasadena, Indiana, Alabama, flight. To go to Miami, Texas Tech, Oregon, flight. Long flight for Oregon. Cotton Bowl, yeah. Ohio and Miami, Cotton Bowl in Texas. That's in Dallas. Flight. So that's probably the main reason the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl aren't selling out. And you got to think, if you're an Ohio State fan, do you want to go to this game if you can afford one game? No. You're going to think they're going to make it further. Maybe you want to go next round or maybe the championship. You're going to save money on that. I
agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's like myself. I live in Arizona, but I'm an Ohio State guy because I used to live in Ohio. So there's those people who are transplants that are all over the place too, and geographically, which game makes the most sense for them. And I just think it's insane to think. And I wonder if the college football committee thinks this, that you're going to support your team and you're going to go to all of these games. You're going to go to each round of these matchups. Do you think they really think that?
I'll tell you what, if I won the lottery, if I just had a lot of money and I saw one of these games wasn't sold out, I would go to them. I'd take the flight. I would do it, obviously, because I had the money. But
Right, but
I
you,
guess
you referenced it by saying if you won the
if you
lottery.
had the money, some of these fans might have to like, oh, we can't go on vacation this year if we want to go to the game. And I'm like, well, I want to go to Bermuda, so I want to go to Jamaica, so we're gonna not go to this game. It's crazy the money that's thrown around. Wait till the national championship. Wait till how much each ticket. We'll talk about in a few weeks on this channel for sure, in this podcast. But yeah, I'm sure you agree. Cotton Bowl, you'd agree, same thing.
Well, I would go to the Cotton Bowl because it's Ohio State. I mean, that's going to be the deciding factor for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a cheapskate, and just since it's the cheapest ticket, that would be great.
That's why. I think Ole Miss Georgia's got the most scoring, but for the price, I'd rather see Ohio State Miami.
Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful stadium too. I mean, I'll plug Jerry's World. I've been there once for a Dallas game. And that stadium is really cool. It'd be one of those things that if you've never been and you're thinking about going, it's worth the ticket price.
Well, the Packers play the Cowboys next year. I don't know if it's in Green Bay or Dallas, but if it's in Dallas, I'm going to try to go. I'm glad I didn't go this past year because it was a tie. So, but if it's in Dallas, then I might go this year.
All right. Well, I might have to take a road trip to Texas now or something. Man, you never know.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do something live, right outside the parking lot or something. We'll do a Bills Mafia type thing.
It'd be great.
Cowboys Packers game.
Do you know it'd be great if it was like a Monday night game and then Sunday, either the Bengals or Cardinals play the Texans? Wouldn't that be awesome? Same week, double games.
Absolutely. Stop it! You're getting me excited here.
Okay.
You get me all hyped up for something that's probably not going to happen, sir. Stop it.
Yeah, probably not. Chances are very slim.
Yeah, they are.
Better than finding the real killers of OJ's the real killers.
It's true. It's true. If they don't fit, they must have quit. So, so the last thing here on the prices and the college football playoff ticket rounds and all this, right? So then, if we know all that, you and I know it, our fans now know it, and maybe they didn't realize it. Maybe they're not huge college football people, or maybe they don't have a diehard school that they root for. But now that we do know all of that, let me ask you this, Chiefs. Do we need to have home games in the college football playoffs? And if so, how do we do that?
I think this round they should. The first round and second round, they get a bye, but you still need to reward teams that had good seasons. You have a 3-loss Alabama team playing a neutral site against an undefeated Indiana team. Come on, Indiana should get that game at home. So I think this round, the top 4 seeds should get. I think this round should also be at home, and then the final 4 team games, those last 3 games, and then the final should be neutral. That's what I think. What do you think?
I'm actually with you. My thing is, I always want to reward the team that does well. Indiana did well. Ohio State did well. Really basically all these teams that are left in a college football playoff did well. So we're not rewarding them for doing well. We're sending them to neutral sites and we're asking all their fans to go to neutral sites. And then we're saying, well, gee, why didn't your fans travel with you? And why didn't for the bowl games, you got one game. And I think that's almost looked at as almost like a vacation, right? I mean, if you've got Wisconsin and they get to play in Arizona, it's like, woohoo, we get to travel to Arizona in the winter. Let's do it, right? There's an incentive there, but there's no incentive for this. You've got a team that's done really well, and you're not rewarding them for it. I just don't like that part of it.
Yeah, Texas Tech wins the Big 12, gets the 4 seed, 1 loss all year with their backup quarterback, like you said last week, and. Oh, well, you have to go all the way to Miami. I know Oregon has to go further, but you have to travel to Miami and play a neutral site game. That one makes no sense, the fact that Texas team and an Oregon team playing Miami. That just makes absolutely no sense. I'm not saying they should play in Dallas. That's a huge advantage for Texas Tech, but maybe they should be playing Arizona. That's probably what they should have.
Yeah,
at least that's
something like that, right?
Yeah. But Miami, that's crazy. And Ole Miss has a huge advantage in that, I don't know how far it is from Oxford, Mississippi to New Orleans, but I'm guessing it's less than 3 hours. That's just a guess.
Yes.
Probably shorter.
All right, let's jump into our last topic here in our college football spread offense. It's the whole video from John Calipari. I've got a shortened version of it. I'll play it for you here in just a second. We'll do 3 questions, and then we're going to listen to the video and talk about that a little bit more as we close everything out here in our college football segment. We're going to jump to our MLB 4-pitch talk, where we're going to talk all about StatCast statistics. I'm a big statistic guy, and I'm going to throw some things out there, and we'll see if you get more appreciation for StatCast before that segment's done or less. We'll go over that here in just a moment. But first, as far as the John Calipari transfer portal goes and how it needs to be fixed, you have 5 years to play 4. So if you stay at the same school 4 years, we'll give you that 5th year. It's one of the things he says in the video. Are you okay with that? Do you like that? Would you change it in any way, shape, or form?
No, I love that. I agree with most of what he said. And he also talked about, we'll play it, graduating. A lot of people are not graduating. It used to be if you graduated, you could get that 5th year or you could transfer without penalty. But I think 5 years you should be able to graduate. Or I hope so. But yeah, I like that. You get the 5th year only if you stay at the current school. I think that's such that will force more people to stay. Because if they want to play more college football, especially people that aren't necessarily like an NFL prospect, like they're a good college player, but maybe NFL's not their future. They want to keep playing as long as possible.
Yeah, those people that cross their fingers for undrafted free agent, right?
Yeah, or just a linebacker's 215 pounds. Maybe a corner, it's a 4.7 40, but he's really good. He's just not fast enough for the NFL. Something like that. Just good players, just not really typical pro prospects.
Okay. The second thing he says, if your coach leaves or is fired, you can transfer right after that once with no penalty. You okay with that?
This is the tricky one. The problem with this is if you have a coach and he decides to leave, you could lose the entire recruiting class or just you could lose all your best players. He could just try to pull them over to that new school. And then your program is set back for years. And then who wants that job? That would be a disaster. So maybe if there's some controversy like the Penn State, they let them transfer, or what's happening in Michigan with the Sharon Moore situation, if they're fired with cause, maybe, but not. No, I don't think you should just be able to transfer no penalty because it could, like I said, it could just destroy a program, and it's not the university's fault that the coach got a better job. So I think there has to be a legit reason.
Okay, but I'm going to give you some pushback on this one here because I think you're thinking more about the university and the school. And I think if you say that if your coach leaves or is fired, you can transfer once without a penalty, we're thinking more about the college athlete. And I would like to think more about the athlete than I would for the university or the football program. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I don't like that you could lose all your best play. If, for example, if Lane Kiffin went from Ole Miss to LSU, it's not going to happen there. But hypothetical, if they said, "Oh, okay, you can just transfer that," what if he just calls up his 15 best players, come to LSU, and the LSU boosters write a check and say, "Well, we'll give you, 100,000 more than Ole Miss has, or 250 more than they're offering you," and they all just transfer. That would be a disaster because not only you're hurting Ole Miss, you're giving it all LSU. That's what worries me. And what's happening to Oklahoma State and Iowa State, they're losing almost all their players. Like Harley England's coming back. They could be disaster. Oklahoma State already is a disaster. Iowa State could go from being ranked to they could win 3 or 4 games next year with what's happening. I just don't think you can't destroy a program. It could set you back years. I get what you're saying. You want to be able to, but I think there at least needs maybe if the coach leaves, you only have to set out half the year. If you transfer, to another school, you have to set out a whole year. The coach doesn't leave, and if he does, you have to set out half the year. I just don't like no punishment for transferring at all. I don't like that.
Okay. So you sent me a couple of things, and I got some more notes here. I want to give our fans some of these nuggets here for a moment. So roughly 30 days ago, It's been like 32 days now because this tweet was sent out on the 29th, which is yesterday, I believe, right? So 30 days ago, Iowa State played at Oklahoma State. And since then, Oklahoma State has lost 43 players to the portal, and Iowa State has lost 42. They are the two highest counts for any one team, those two teams, per 24/7 Sports, by the way. So it's a reputable site. It's not like we just pulled this out of our butt. So Oklahoma State lost 43, Iowa State lost 42, and that's what you're talking about. I don't want to say those programs are ruined, but that's going to be hard to come back from, right?
They're going to have to try to steal people from, Memphis and South Florida and places like that, or North Dakota State, Montana State, places, they're just going to have to go, and then there's more transfers and to just fill a roster out. That's bad. And by the way, both those have new head coaches coming in. Mike Gundy was fired at Oklahoma State. Matt Campbell left for Penn State. That's the main reason, is the coach left.
Okay.
So
which is like what we're talking about right now.
Exactly. So that's probably why this happened. But I just hate this. I hate that you just, like Calipari said, you can just every year transfer if you offer me. Okay, this university offers you $100,000. You take it. Then, right at the end of the season, someone was offering you $400,000. So you transfer to a different university. Then another university offers you $1 million, and then next university offers you $2 million. So you're going to keep chasing the money. I mean, if you go from $1 million to $2 million to transfer, you're going to do it because there's no guarantees you'll make the NFL. That will set you up for life, all that money. So you're going to take it. And I don't like it, but I don't blame them.
Right. 3% of all FBS players make the NFL, by the way. 3%.
Yeah. But there are a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits that don't even get drafted, that think they're going to make it, and they don't. They're 5-star recruits that, don't even get tryouts sometimes because they don't live up to expectations. So you can't. It's not a guarantee. It doesn't matter who you are. If you look at the recruiting, I did about 5 years ago. I looked at the top 25 recruits one year, and like 3 of them were drafted in the first 2 rounds of the draft. Wow. 3 and 4 years later. That's it. So there's no guarantee that you're going to make the NFL just make money. So you're going to chase as much money as you can get.
Yeah. So, we kid all the time, right? Not just us, but I hear a lot of family members kid and stuff like that. Like I've got one relative, he's like 14, 15 years old now. This poor guy doesn't have an athletic bone in his body, but he's really tall, right? The first thing you think of is, oh wow, he's going to be a big time basketball player, and he's going to set us up for life because he's going to go to the NBA, and we assume all of this just because he's tall, right? There's so much more to it than just the way you look, or can you bench press 450 pounds, or all there's so many more intangibles.
You gotta have skills. You gotta have skills. You gotta have hand-eye coordination. You gotta have athleticism. If he can shoot 44% from 3, okay, then maybe he's got a shot. If he's super athletic, if he's got unbelievable hand-eye coordination, there's so many things. But yeah, if he's not athletic bone in his body, he's not going to probably even play in college.
Yeah, no, he's not. I'm just using that as an example. Like we look at somebody and go, "Wow, you're tall. You should be a basketball player." And there's so much more to it than just being tall. That's kind of the point I was getting to. Let me give you one last stat here about the transfer portal. I had to do a double take at this because I was like, this can't be right, but it's right now. And by the way, the transfer portal hasn't even officially opened yet. There's been a whole lot of people who have declared. I didn't think there was this many people, but there's been a whole lot of people who have declared for this transfer portal already. Are you ready for this number, Cheese?
No.
How many college football players, as of about noon today?
I think it was over. I think I saw it was over 3,000, or is it more than that?
3,300 people have declared. That's just insane.
It's going to go up too because we got a couple more days.
Yeah. Yes, it
is. January 2nd. January 2nd, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. January.
So 2nd. It'll go up. It's a real shame, and it's why Jeff Hafley, defense coordinator of Green Bay Packers, he left a head coaching job at Boston College because he didn't want to keep having to recruit and beg his players to stay. And he knew once if he had he mentioned something like if he had a 3-star recruit that ended up playing like a 5-star recruit, the chances of him being in Boston College next year were very slim because Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan are going to call.
Yeah, and they've got more money.
And they got more money. So, yeah.
Last thing here before we play the video. If you join a program mid-season, you can't play for that program at all that season. You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. That should be the rule. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I would almost think that you have to sit out a whole year. If you join mid-season, you can't play until mid-season of the following year. I mean, that would kind of be my thing.
That used to be the rule.
All right. I'm pretty sure I've got this set up here, so I'm going to hold this kind of close to the microphone.
Okay.
It is right at 2 minutes long, and this is John Calipari talking about the transfer portal. He says some things that we haven't talked about yet. We'll get to that here after we listen to the video. Maybe. Oh, I know what I've got to do.
4 times.
Hang on.
So I say to you, if a kid transfers 4 times, is he going to graduate from that school? There's no way. You can't graduate. So now you're going to be done playing without a college degree. You have no ties to the last school you went to where they feel that you're from Arkansas, you played here, we're here, you're going to have opportunity. That's done. You're offered $55,000 in your first job, and you go, what? $55,000? Do I have to show up? You got me an apartment, right, or a car? I mean, I'm worried about mental health. Mental health. Look, I've been poor. And you know what's worse than being poor? Coming across some money and then being poor again. That's the worst. That's probably why I'm cheap, because I'm not going back there. But so
sounds like
my
you.
thing is, and I've been pushing this, you can transfer once without penalty. Because you picked the wrong school, the coach lied to you, there was another player that came that you didn't know about, one time. And after that, you got to sit. Because what do you think they're transferring for? Somebody help me here. Why are they say it? That's it. It isn't because they're mad at this or that. I can extort you, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going over here. If we cure that, I've been saying it for 5 years, no one listens to me. My dog, I call me, runs the other way. My wife doesn't listen to me. No one listens. If we
sure this
cure
isn't you?
the transfer rule, 70% of our problems go away. We can deal with all the other stuff. Do anything.
Yeah, so that's 100% right. I'm with
Well
him
said.
on almost everything that he said. And
The transfer once is I love that rule. Even a rule where you transfer a second time, you have to sit at least half the year, and then the third time a whole year. But I love that you get one, you get a mulligan. But they're worried about antitrust laws. That's what they're worried about. If you don't let someone transfer, they're going to sue antitrust laws. That's the big problem. So that's why I don't know if it's going to change.
But I'm for more than anything else, okay. And I'm going to reveal a little bit about me and a little bit here that maybe I'm not saying maybe that I shouldn't, but it's so I work for a first responder, right? That's what I do, and I do a lot of mental health stuff with them. I'm in a couple of different groups and stuff like that, and I really care about people's mental health, especially where they're at now. And I 1,000% agree with Calipari when he says the mental health of these people, right? You give them that's the worst thing than being poor, is being poor, getting money, and then getting it taken away from you again. That causes suicides, ladies and gentlemen. It does. That causes you to sit in your apartment somewhere and be like, wow, I had all of this and it's gone. And I just, oh my gosh. And you're giving it to a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid, right? And then when he gets to be 22, he has no money left. And you're expecting them just to be okay. That's not the way it works. That's what I'm worried about more than anything. And I love that Calipari has actually come out and said it. And I agree with it wholeheartedly. And I think that it's not getting the attention that it deserves to get. What about you, Cheese?
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to feel sorry for someone that makes 2 or 3 million in 5 years in college and then it's gone and wasted all. But when you're 18, 19, you think you're going to keep having money. You think you're going to make the NFL, the NBA, and it's
right.
So it's no one really thinks about the mental health aspect of it. And I'm glad he brought it up. He just made some great points, and not always been his biggest fan. And I used to watch a lot of college basketball. I don't watch any anymore. But what he said was brilliant. As far as you get one transfer, and we got to start paying more attention to these kids. We got to try to help them graduate. And another thing he said that was brilliant: 55,000. That's it. Do I have to show up? Because that's kind of what it is.
It is.
Oh, you get an apartment, you get the money, like you're an athlete, you get whatever you want, and they've never had to work. A lot of these guys never had jobs or never had to work for it. They've never had to, work at Burger King. They never had to do manual labor. They never had to work minimum wage or do that and just work your butt off just to try to make it. So they don't understand. They've been kind of spoiled by the NIL now. You can pay. And like you said, if they spend all their money and they're broke and they have no skills and they're not graduated, they're not going to even make $55,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's not going to go well.
It's not. And then you start to say things like, what am I here for? What has my life, is it gone? I'm never going to be able to play football again. And I've never done, I work in a place to where we got a lot of alpha males, and a lot of these kids used to play college football, and they talk to me about their glory days. And it's like, how old are you? 24. Really? You can still do something with your life, man. I mean, but they're so depressed about it. And it's like, oh, I used to be a cornerback, and I used to do this, and I used to do that. And it's like, but you can still make a difference, but you have to be willing to take that $55,000 job with no apartment and no car.
I just thought of something else too.
Sure. Go ahead.
You're 18, 19, you get this money. You might have friends that I got your back in high school. I've always had your back. We've been friends since middle school. Mm-hmm. Hey, you get the check here. Will you buy me some Ciroc and Patron? Will you do, you know what I mean? So you're always picking up the check. You're going to run out of money eventually.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you make $2 million a year. You just keep going to the club, keep going to the restaurant, hotels, concerts, events, eventually cars. You're going to run out of money. Jewelry, bling,
that's
whatever.
Ends up.
Yeah, you're going to run out of money at some point. Doesn't matter how much you make. Eventually, it will run out.
Yes. It's an interesting thing that he brought up, and I really liked it, and I wanted to make sure we talked about it here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Thank you guys all for being with us. Once again, you can go to our X spot, that is All Gloves Off SM. You can go over to our YouTube. You like, subscribe, you hit the bell, you do all of those good things when you get there. We appreciate that. We're close to 100 subscribers now, so get us up over that hump if you would, please. That would be wonderful. It's a nice way to end the new year. If you would do that for us, we would greatly appreciate it. And that site is All Gloves Off Sports Media. All right, buddy. So we're gonna transfer into baseball for a second, and you know how we do that. We give ourselves a little bit of music, and then we hit a button, and all of a sudden, poof, we're in baseball land. Let's go. There it is. Hit a button, poof, we're in baseball land. We're right there in the dugout, man. Not a problem. I love it. All right,
such a cool graphic.
Yeah. I know, the graphic is pretty slick. So we are going to jump into MLB 4-pitch talk here. We're going to look at 4 StatCat hitting statistics. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of stuff, okay? We're going to look at 4 StatCats hitting statistics. We're going to define them. We're going to talk about them a little bit, and then we're going to rank some stuff with them as far as that part goes. I think this will be an interesting segment, so we'll see how everybody tends to like it. I would love it if you guys would comment. Tell us if we're doing good. If you like this, maybe we'll keep it up and we'll do a couple other different things. So, of course, the count will tell me here too. If people start leaving, then we'll just abandon the whole thing. But you just never know, right? So, I like the stats. Cheese. Are you a stat guy? Are you you're more of I see it on the field. The eye test is what you like to call it, right?
Eye test is my number one, but I do like analytics. I think it's definitely changed both sports, football, especially baseball. But I do like it. I look at it all the time, especially when it comes to quarterback play in the NFL. But I think it's changed the way you look at baseball completely.
Yes.
And there are players, I just remember when I was a kid and I realized like maybe they weren't as good. And other players, like if they were playing today, they'd be making all-stars. And back then they didn't even sniff it, So like, for example, used to be the guy who made the fewest errors at third base, shortstop, second base won the Gold Glove. Well, fielding percentage is not even close to the most important stat in fielding. So
defensive runs saved and outs above average and all of those kinds of them. We're not even going to talk about any of that today, but that's the new statistics.
Yeah. So it just changed the way you look at it. And I think it's more efficient, and it's especially in the NFL, it's helped teams draft better. You can almost everyone's going to have bad drafts, but when I look at the drafts, rarely do you see a team just completely blow it anymore. Like picks make sense.
Unless you're the Cincinnati Bengals.
Unless you're the Cincinnati Bengals. And there are a few teams, like I said, there are 4 or 5 drafts every year that look bad. But teams have gotten like dominant team. We're going to talk about that. There's not these 15, 16 win teams every year because there is more parity because teams have gotten smarter with analytics as far as drafting goes.
All right, so we're going to look at 4 terms. Let me give you the 4 terms. We'll define them first, and then we'll build off of that. Okay, so we're going to look at exit velocity. We're going to look at launch angle. We're going to look at barrel rate, and we're going to look at hard hit rate. Those are the 4 things we're going to look at: exit velocity, launch angle, barrel rate, and hard hit rate. So let's define each one of them real quick, Cheese. So exit velocity is simply the speed of the ball off the bat. So obviously, the higher the exit velocity, the faster, the longer that the ball will go off the bat. The launch angle, probably the one that might be the hardest one to understand. It's the vertical, so the upward trajectory angle that the ball leaves the bat. Most home runs are hit between 25 and 35 degrees. That's key. We'll talk about it here in a moment. But that's the launch angle. The barrel rate is the percentage of batted balls hit with the ideal exit velocity and launch angle. That's why we're building off of this. So you got exit velocity, the bat speed off the ball. You've got the launch angle, which is the angle from the bat that the ball leaves, the vertical angle, and then barrel rate. It's not that complicated, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the percentage of those batted balls with the ideal both exit velocity and launch angle. And lastly, we're going to look at hard hit rate, and that's the percentage of balls that you hit that are 95 mile an hour and plus. All right. So, Cheese, got any questions on any of that stuff? You think we got it? We understand all the definitions?
Yeah. I've been looking at all 4 of these stats for years. Maybe launch angle the last couple, but yeah. No questions.
Okay, excellent. So we'll continue to run through these. So which of these stats are more impressive? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you one of each of those stats and a person that's associated with them. And Cheese, you're going to tell me which one you think is the most impressive of the 4. We'll kind of rank them and go from there. All right. So the first one, Oneil Cruz from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has the highest exit velocity, 122.9.
If you watch him play, that's not surprising.
No. Exit velocity, the speed that the ball comes off the bat. Think if I could throw a ball at you at 122.9 miles an hour and how fast that would be. That's what that is. You're at the hot corner, right? You're at third base, and Oneil Cruz smacks the ball, and it's coming off his bat at 122.9 mile an hour.
Crazy.
And just duck and get out of the way. Right? Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles has hit a home run with the highest angle, 49 degrees. I know this one's the hardest one to kind of visualize, but think about this. If most angles are hit at like a 25 to 35 degree, he hit a ball that went like that and still made it out of the ballpark. So the ball went, one of those majestic.
Yeah, Camden Yards, though. I bet it was in Camden because that's a hitter's park. Yeah.
So Aaron Judge leads the league in barrel rate with a 24.7% barrel rate. Let's look at this a little bit. So it's the percentage of batted balls with the ideal exit velocity and launch angle. So you've got to do both of them to be considered a barrel rate success. So almost 25% of the time, Aaron Judge hits a ball that has the ideal speed and angle. It's crazy. 25% of the time, you're hitting a round ball with a round bat, and you can still do it. And just to kind of give you a comparison, Ohtani is at 23.5, and the Mets' Juan Soto is the next guy. His is 18.1. So it just continues to drop. The last one, and then we'll talk about these four here, Cheese. Kyle Schwarber leads the league this past season in hard hit rate. So this is, again, the percentage of the balls that he has hit that's over 95 miles an hour. So it's not just one ball that's 122 that comes flying off the bat at you. This is consistency. He consistently hits the ball hard, and hard is, again, 95 miles an hour or better. And Kyle Schwarber did this last season 59.6% of the time. So let's take each one of them, buddy. Talk to me about these. Which one do you think is the most impressive out of these four?
So are we going to rank each one, or just what's impressive? Which player in this is the most impressive?
Let's rank them. Let's take a few moments and rank them. Go from 4 to 1.
So they're all important. You have to look at all of them.
Correct.
My fourth most important is hard hit rate. It's percentage hit over 95 miles an hour. The reason I have it last is just because it doesn't measure if you make contact or not. So you could strike out 250 times and have the best hard hit rate because it's just when you make you're just swinging so hard every time. It's still important because you want a hard hit rate for your power hitters, but I have it fourth.
Okay. Go ahead and give me 3 because I'm
okay.
Yeah, because I am not going to have that 4. So yeah,
okay.
not even close. Go ahead.
I'll quick with 3, 2, 1. I'll go real quick here. Launch angle is 3. It's important because obviously you hit the ball on the ground, more likely you're not going to get a hit. But I have it third just because sometimes the launch angle is too much. You can hit too many pop outs. Mm-hmm. So that's the only problem I have with launch angle. Number 2, I would have exit velocity. Obviously the speed off the bat, very important. And barrel rate, I have number 1. Those 2 are the most important to me. If you're good at exit velocity and barrel rate, you're going to be one of the best hitters in the game. You're going to be good. It's just, if you look at every year who's the highest in those, they're always the best hitters. But yeah, barrel rate, you said it best. It's the ideal exit velocity and launch angle. Ideal is the key. And so I think that is the most important. What do you think?
And Judge does it almost 25% of his at bat.
That's insane.
Crazy.
And third place is 18%. So he's more than 6% from the third place person. That's
right,
crazy.
which is a really good player. His name's Juan Soto. It's not like he's a trash player for so.
He can hit a little bit.
Right, he can hit a little, just a little, right?
So so what's your order?
My order would actually be, I agree with you, the launch angle would probably be last for me because I don't care how majestic the home run looks. I think a lot of people get caught up in how things look. I want efficiency. So I'm going to take efficiency over looks, and I think that although it's impressive to watch Adley Rutschman hit that ball, if you can see that video, it is impressive. But it's one video. That's the same reason why I'm going to put this stat at number 3, which would be the O'Neal Cruz Pittsburgh Pirate exit velocity. It's one time he got a hold of a ball, right? Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? So, I mean, he got a hold of one and he hit one really hard. Okay, what do you do consistently for me? And that's why I'm going to put these next 2 stats as 2 and 1. Schwarber leading the league in hard hit rate. He's consistent with it. 59.6% of the time. He swings so darn hard if you watch him. His torque. The way we could go through all this. There's hard swing rate. There's all kinds of stuff that we could have dove into, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to look at this hard hit rate. That's really impressive. And of course, I would put Aaron Judge at the top here with that barrel rate, 24.7%. It's not only does he do one thing right, but he does both things ideal. It's the percentage of batted balls that has the ideal exit velocity and the ideal launch angle. So the other part that I want to talk about here for a second, Cheese, and get your opinion on, this has also, these new stats have also made it easier, or at least more quantifiable, when you go to free agency. This is the one thing that the hated guy that I can't stand, his representation, Scott Boras, he's really good at this.
Yeah.
His team gets all these things together and they look at all of this and they're like, okay, I know Kyle Schwarber strikes out a lot, but he also hits the ball really, really hard, and he does it on a consistent basis. And, you can really dive into all these stats, and then you can figure out, we're going to build on this a little bit. Next week, I'm going to talk about building a lineup, and you can take these stats and start building a lineup with it. You don't need 9 players that can hit the ball over the fence and strike out a lot. That's not what you need. You still need a contact hitter in front. You need a base stealer. You need all these different kinds of things. So we'll kind of get into that as the segments build here. So what do you think about these new stats and how they can get players more money?
Certainly Boras is going to use them. He's going to use the stats. He uses any stats. I still remember, this is about football, but players and agents hate a PFF and grading because if they have a bad grade, teams, when they're negotiating contract, well, you only had a 59 run blocking grade, or you had a 47 tackle grade, PFF. So players and agents do not like it, the grading system, because teams actually use that against them. But Boras will do anything and everything, and he's so bad for baseball.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
He'll use anything and everything, and he actually hurts his clients sometimes. Sometimes he sends them to the wrong team, because he basically 6 or 8 teams will actually deal with him. Yeah. And sometimes they go to the wrong fit, and it's just they go for the most money and not what's the best fit for them. But yeah, he'll use all of that, and he's Scott Boras. He's going to use anything and everything to get his client. Yeah. All he cares about is money. The most money, doesn't matter what team it is. The most money, that's where you go. That's all he cares about.
So this next exercise, and this is the third thing. This is it's going to be a little bit shorter of an MLB spot today, because I didn't want to bore people with a bunch of stats when we first start this thing off. So we're looking at, I want you to be able to be a fan and be able to sit back and go, okay, well, this is my favorite player, or this is a guy on my team, or are any of my guys on my team, or is my favorite player really good at any of these stats you guys are talking about? So we're going to look at the top 5 people in each one of those stats. So exit velocity, the speed of the ball off the bat; launch angle, the vertical angle that it leaves the bat; the barrel rate, which is the ideal exit velocity and launch angle put together; and then, of course, a hard hit rate, which is hitting the ball 95 miles an hour plus. So, Cheese, I'll pause at each one of these here, and we'll talk about them for a second. Here's the top 5 average players in exit velocity. Again, that is the speed of the ball off the bat. So it is number 5 is Wood from the Washington Nationals. Then you got Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies. You got Ohtani from the Dodgers. You got Judge from the Yankees. And, of course, we talked about it. O'Neill Cruz would be number 1. So Wood, Schwarber, Ohtani, Judge, and Cruz. Anything that strikes you, and you want to talk about any of those guys off that list?
The Wood's the only one that's kind of surprised. I guess it isn't, just because he was a top 5 prospect. But yeah, he's one of those. He could have a breakout year. That's the other names make total sense. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever been close to him. I've been close to him once. On a baseball field. The guy's huge. Yeah. Right? All these guys are huge.
All these guys are huge. They're all superhuman. They all wear capes pretty much when they get in the batter's box. So, he is one of those true outcome guys. The swing and miss, the walk, if he gets a hole in one, though, it's going really, really far.
He's one of the best young bats in the baseball. Yeah.
Wow. So see, if you're a fan of the Washington Nationals now, you can get behind Wood and you can be like, yeah, that's my guy right there. He's on my team. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about.
No, I'm not a fan of Washington Nationals. Do not put that out there. Do not put that.
Okay.
Not at all.
I don't think we have any Atlanta Braves or any Chicago Cubs on this list whatsoever.
Definitely not any Cubs.
Think so.
Definitely not any Cubs.
But I don't think we have any Reds on this list either. So don't feel bad. Okay. So we're gonna.
I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. Okay, fine. Be that way.
No, Braves in past years have had people in this list. One year, believe it or not, what's his name? Oh God, I'm blanking. The DH the last few years for the Braves.
Ozuna.
Ozuna. Yeah, one year he was like top 5 in a couple of these, like 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3. So he's shown up on there. And of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. has been up there as well, but not this past year for either one of them.
Yeah, Ozuna was really good at hitting women too. I think he was really high on that list too.
I think he just strangled them.
Okay, is that all he did? Just that? Okay. Man, this show's gonna go off.
And we'll talk about someone that's accused of that in the NFL segment. But anyway, we're almost done with baseball.
We will actually. That's right. That's a nice segue right there, buddy.
There we go.
We got it.
Pretty horrible, yeah.
Adley Rutschman has the 49-degree launch angle, but here are the top 5 guys in launch angle. Some of these names, so I guess what I want to prove to you with this stat is it's not the big power bats that you might think of, except for the top guy when you're looking at launch angle. So Isaac Paredes is number 5. Wilber Abreu from the Red Sox is number 4. Spencer Torkelson, first baseman for the Detroit Tigers, is number 3. The second guy on this list from 2025 is Cedric Mullins, by the way, outfielder for the Orioles. And number 1, shouldn't be a big surprise to you, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Who do you want to talk about on this list, sir?
So Isaac Paredes, he's a Deadpool hitter that's trying to hit a home run every time. That's the thing with launch angle. When I see this, these guys, every at bat, are just trying to hit homers. That's why their launch angle is high. But Isaac Paredes, he used to be a Cub briefly. He's on the Astros. All he wants to do every time he's up is do a pull home run. So that's why he's on this list. But yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe I should have had this last launch angle. Just looking at the group, it's just the worst group of the 4.
But I certainly agree with what you just said. I mean, we didn't rehearse this at all, and we're going to be exactly on the same page. These are the guys who are not great players. They're trying to go from that middle.
Except for Cal Raleigh, yeah.
Except for Cal Raleigh. But he really wasn't even considered a good catcher until this past season when he starts hitting all these home runs. Then all of a sudden, everybody's paying attention to him. Nobody really knew who Cal Raleigh was until this past season, so let's not give him a ton of credit. All right.
Well, he had 60 home runs, so you got to give him credit for this year.
But
of all that list, he's by far the best player.
Okay, I'll give you that. But these are the guys who are you're right, trying to hit the home run. This is what a lot of people think makes money in Major League Baseball. Everybody, all the women love the home runs, right?
Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks dig the long ball, yes. And so these guys are trying to get there, and they're trying to get more money. I'm not sure if they're succeeding at it, but they're trying. So, and there's the launch angle one. Let's look at the league as far as the barrel rate goes. And again, the barrel rate's percentage of balls hit with the ideal exit velocity and the launch angle. And believe it or not, there is a site out there, there's 2 or 3 of them, that will give you how many balls were hit that by each player that had the ideal exit velocity and the launch angle, which is pretty neat, actually. Number 5, with 81 of those balls hit in 2025, Juan Soto. 4th was Kyle Schwarber with 85. 3rd was Pete Alonso with 89. Then it jumps to Judge at 96. And the guy who hit the most was Shohei Ohtani with 100. What do you want to talk about on this list, Cheese?
I just want to talk about the fact that those are 5 of probably the best 10 hitters in baseball. We both had this as number 1. This is barrel rate. If you just look at the top 25 barrel rate, just look at it, looking at definitely 25 of the best 30 or 35 hitters in baseball. This is a great stat for determining the best hitters in baseball. Look at those names. Of you who
really, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy. Go ahead.
No, I just said, look at those names. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah. For those of you who are really trying to get an edge on like fantasy baseball or something like that, these are some of these stats that I think you need to look at and pay attention to. That probably not everybody that's drafting along with you on your fantasy teams there know all these stats. These are the ones you need to pay attention to as far as I'm concerned. Last one.
Real quick, I just want to say something about launch angle.
Sure.
I just had a thought. I think that stat, I'd be more worried at how low it is. I don't need to say someone so high. Look at the people on the list. Some of these people aren't even all-stars. But I'd be worried if it was low, like less than 10%, because you're going to hit the ball on the ground too much. More double plays, less hits, so less power. So I think launch angle is more important, that it's not a super low than you want something super high.
But you've also got guys like Luis Ariz, right, who never hit the ball out of the ballpark, or very few, but yet they've won batting titles. And this is where we're going to go with this, Cheese. You don't need a whole bunch of home run hitters. You need some different people. It's just like in the bullpen. You need a lefty. You need a specialist. You need a guy that can throw the ball in the dirt, that if you can't get a strikeout, at least you can get a ground ball out or something like that, right? So but
no, I agree. You need Nico Hoerner, Luis Arias. You need those guys that can hit a single with man on second, 2 out, and not trying to hit a home run. You do need those guys. I get it. But batting titles, to me, I don't really care about it, because a single counts as much as a homer in batting average, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't. So that's the problem with bat. I like OPS much better. OPS plus, WRC plus is probably my favorite. I care more about that. Like you said, that you can't have 9 Kyle Schwarbers. You can't. You need at least a few guys that will hit the other way, try to slap a single or double. I get it. But batting average, my point is, it just doesn't mean what it used to, because it counts a single. Like nobody on 2 out, a single means you're probably not going to score a homer. You score a run. So in a lot of situations, most situations, it's better. So I just want to make that point about batting average.
No, you're good. You're good. So I think you're going to be surprised at the sheer number of this next stat and a couple of the people on this list. This is, again, hard hit rate. The percentage of balls that a hitter hits over 95 miles an hour. And by the way, it takes a really big swing to hit a ball 95 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will give you this. It also depends on who's pitching the ball to you. If Hunter Green is pitching the ball at 103 miles an hour and you swing at it, obviously it's gonna go. It's gonna leave the bat a lot better than if you had R.A. Dickey that's throwing you the knuckle curve at 80, right? So that does have something to do with it. But let's look at these numbers here. So we can actually determine how many balls were hit 95 mile per hour or higher. Here's the list. Number 5. Shohei Ohtani has hit 250 just this past season in 2025. Manny Machado's got 2 more. Manny Machado's got 2 more, 252. Then next, a guy you shouldn't be surprised of. He's not been on any of these other lists yet, but he is a big power guy. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 1 more, 253. Again, another guy that you shouldn't really be surprised that's on this list. He doesn't do everything really well, but he's got the power part down. Pete Alonso with 256 hard hit rate as far as how many balls were over 95 miles an hour. And the number 1 guy, you're going to go, really? With 260 of them, that was hitting 95 mile per hour or more, Yandy Diaz. What do you want to talk about on this list, Chief?
Yandy Diaz. I want to talk about him.
Like, what?
Okay, so Yandy Diaz is might be the most. No, I'm going to say he's the most underrated hitter in baseball. He's been good for years. He's only 1 All-Star, but what's amazing about the stat is if you have a high hard hit rate, a lot of batted balls over 95 miles an hour, you're typically going to strike out a lot. He's never had 100 strikeouts. He's a 290 career hitter. We talk about batting average. So he hits for a high average and he doesn't strike out. That's crazy. I'm surprised he doesn't hit more home runs. He's never hit more than 25. He does, never hit more than 35 doubles. A little surprised, but he's just a really good hitter. So that really did surprise me. But he's been with one of the reasons underrated is he plays for Tampa, and they don't get a lot of coverage. But yeah.
But we all know that this is a Tampa Bay guy, right? A guy that nobody really knows about, that does a lot better than people give him credit for. And Tampa Bay finds these people and says, oh, yeah, that's the guy we want right there. He's got that really good hard hit rate. That's what we want. So this is a Tampa Bay guy, right? Yandy Diaz is the prototypical Tampa Bay guy.
He's got a batting title. You mentioned that. He's got a batting title. He's finished 6th in the MVP. He's won a Silver Slugger. He was an All-Star in 2023. I guess it's a tough position, first base, to make an All-Star. Only 3 make it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm a little surprised he's only made 1 All-Star game.
Yeah, but again, when you're doing this fantasy stuff, maybe you should look at Yandy Diaz and pick him a little higher than what than what you did last year.
Here's what he did this past year: 300 average, which is hardly anybody does that anymore.
Right.
366 on base, OPS plus 136, 25 homers, 83 RBIs, only struck out 92 times in 651 plate appearances. That's really good. That's really not like good. Elite, but that's really good. And he, plays first base, so he's obviously not gonna. It's tough to make All-Star game. There's so many good hitting bats at first base, so it's tough.
Yeah, well, there's so many really good power hitting bats at first base. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to go. They're really good hitters, but they're really good power hitters. And again, everybody loves, the chicks love the long ball, and everybody gets into it and they watch it, and it's majestic, and give me the Yandy Diaz guy, and give me a guy that's really good across the board at a lot of stuff, instead of one guy who can really hit home runs, and that's about all he can do. I'll take the average guy all the way across the board every day that ends in Y. All right, buddy, it's almost time for you. Our buddy Cheese here, he does the NFL segment. He writes all this stuff. So, if something happens here and you don't like it, this one's not on me. All right. This one's on Cheese over here with his
no pressure.
Pretty hair.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, man. None whatsoever. But let's go ahead and do it. Let's jump into our final segment, the NFL segment. We call it NFL 4 Down Territory. And I don't know why this thing's not doing what I want it to do. Hang on. Why? I don't know. All right. Well, let's do it anyway.
Okay.
Oh, it's still not. I don't know. What is wrong here?
I don't know, man.
No, I see what I did. All right. That's maybe not. I don't know. Hang on. Can we just, without? Can we? No. This is great podcasting, right?
We could just do it with the lightning.
We can, I guess. I'm not sure what has happened here. What's going on here? I switch windows and sometimes it gets all picky and crazy with me. But
we can talk about finding the real OJ killers.
We could.
We could do
Let me
that
try
right
it
now.
one more time. Can I try it one more time?
Yeah, you can try it one more time.
There we go.
I think you got it.
I got it. Sometimes it takes the old man a few tries. He'll get it eventually.
Yay!
I love that you cheer for me like a kid on the playground. That's great. All right, Cheese, give us a preview. What are we going to talk about here in the NFL segment today?
We're going to talk about a crazy Green Bay Packers stat. We're going to talk about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. And there is also a poll that I did a couple days ago. We're going to talk about the fact, I mentioned it earlier, there's no real dominant team. And we're going to go over some flaws. We're going to do a team each in the AFC, NFC. And then finally, we got to talk about Stephon Diggs and what's going on with the Patriots and their receiver who's in trouble yet again.
All right. I like everything that you're talking about right there. But the question is, where are we going to start, Cheese? What are we doing first, buddy?
I want to get the Green Bay Packers stat out of the way because I don't like it. So, but we had to talk about it. So the Packers are now 0-3 in games which they do not punt. They lost the Panthers, Bears, and Ravens. And in those games, not one punt. The rest of the NFL is 8-0 in those games in which they don't punt. So basically, the entire league is 8-3 in games where they don't punt, and the Packers have all 3 of the losses. How is that possible, Mike? How?
I don't know. And when you sent me this, I read it like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be a misprint. He's put a word in here that's wrong. And so I kept reading it, and I'm like, no, Cheese doesn't make mistakes. This can't be
Never.
wrong. This has just got to be a crazy stat. So what you're telling me is, in games when they don't punt, in games where they perform really well offensively,
Yes.
they still lose?
All 3 times they haven't punted, they have lost the game, including a game they scored 13 points against the Panthers, and they didn't punt.
How can you only score 13 points and not punt? How does that even happen?
They lost by 17 to Baltimore and didn't punt.
I mean, is it turnovers? So were the turnovers really
no.
high in those games? Or?
I think they had 1 turnover against the Panthers and Bears. I think 0 against the Ravens.
Wow, that's just a crazy stat, man. I love stats. I got to give it to you, man. That's one of the crazier stats I've ever heard in my life.
I don't know how it's possible, but so you answered my next question already. Were you shocked? You obviously answered that. What does that say about the Packers? Do you have a theory? Because I do, but do you have a theory on how this is happening?
So wow, if you don't punt, that means you're not good on 3rd down. That means you're not good on 4th down. And
they're one of the highest 3rd down percentages in the NFL.
This
Here's what it is,
continues to get crazier and crazier as we talk about it.
Here's what it is. It's Matt LaFleur. It's the coaching. It's coaching down the stretch. No, it is. It's not kicking a field goal when he should, going for 4th when he should kick the field goal. It's all of that. It's playing way too conservative and not finishing games. He plays not to lose. That's what it's all about.
Okay, you're gonna every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna hear me say the word clip, and you're like, "What is he doing? What is he? Has he got Tourette's or something over here?" He just keeps saying clip. I've figured out now that if we say clip at the beginning and like an ending where we want it to be, then StreamYard picks up on it, and it'll make a short that goes from the word clip to the other word clip. So right now it's probably all confused. It's like clip, clip. Yeah, you'll hear me say it. I like that. We have to clip that, and we'll make that into a short. So that'll be fantastic. Because that stat just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And of course, you're going to be the guy who says, because you despise Matt LaFleur. For those of for people who are new to the channel and they haven't gone over to Football with Cheese and have seen some of his other videos, he's a Green Bay Packer guy. Obviously, that's why his name is Cheese, right? So I mean, that was not his name he was born under. That's But
Maybe
one of these days, I've teased you about this kind of off air. We need to meet Mama Cheese and Daddy Cheese and all. We got to meet all these people here before it's all said and done. So maybe eventually. But
no, there are some games where they didn't get a 4th down. Baltimore, they couldn't stop anything on defense. Micah Parsons out for the year. Their defensive tackle situation is bad. They couldn't stop Baltimore. That was the biggest issue there. It wasn't the offense. But the defense played pretty well in the Bears and Panthers game. In fact, that Bears game, the Bears had 3 points going in the 4th quarter. So it's just there's such a bad 4th quarter team under Matt LaFleur. And I just don't know how it's possible that not one other team in the league has lost a game where they didn't punt. The other 8 times, obviously they won. A lot of them were early Colts games when their offense was amazing early, but it just should. And also special teams. Green Bay's terrible in special teams. It's cost them 3 games this year. 3. If they just have okay special teams, they don't get a kick blocked. They get an onside kick. They don't get a 2-point conversion return. Like, just terrible special teams has been a big issue as well.
And if you don't think special teams can get you back into a game, did you not watch the Monday night game last night when they got the block kick and all of a sudden, right, they get the momentum? Now, they ended up not winning, Man, I thought that was a great catch by Puka Nacua. I thought that was going to be a catch, but
So close.
oh, man.
Little bit bobbled, just a little. It would have
Just
been
a
one of the
little.
best catches ever. And the Falcons, I think the Falcons have had like 4 or 5 kicks blocked this year. They would be probably winning the Division 1 for special teams. They would probably have the Division 1 because the division is so terrible. Their special teams is the biggest joke. And the thing is, the Rams have horrible special teams as well, and they won the special teams in that game. I've never seen anything like the Falcons special teams in my life. How many blocks? It just keeps happening. So I don't know if Raheem Morris. We'll see if he survives it because they've won a few games in a row. All right, let's stop talking about the Packers. I'm getting grumpy. Mike Tomlin. Okay. No matter what happens against the Ravens Sunday night, he has never had a losing record in 19 seasons in Pittsburgh. However, things have become stale since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. They have won 9 or 10 games, just 9 or 10, no more, no less, in 5 straight seasons. His defenders, the people who defend him, they point out that he has not had a good quarterback play since Big Ben. Can Tomlin use this excuse? Can he still use this? I don't have a great quarterback.
Well, yes, because everybody, and you'll agree with this statement. You have to have a top 12 quarterback to win in the NFL. You have to. There's this is not the league the way it used to be, where you could just do like a guy who doesn't make a mistake and he can take you to the Super Bowl. There are no Trent Dilfers anymore because the game has changed and evolved so much. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to have a quarterback, but here's my but to this whole thing, right? I can't stand the Steelers, so I think it's hilarious that they've been stuck in this rut forever and a day. But you have to, you said we got to do something against tanking. We can't have the team tank. We can't have. But if Pittsburgh would just tank and go get a good quarterback in the draft, they'd be so much better off right now. They're doing the retreads. They're doing the Aaron Rodgers. They're doing the Russell Wilsons. Come on.
Yeah.
Just lose a bunch of games in a season, go get yourself a good quarterback and be done.
Yeah, if you pick between 17 and 22 every year, you're probably going to pick between 17 and 22 every year because you're not going to get a quarterback. You're not going to get like an elite play. If you don't have an elite quarterback, it's just, you're not going to really improve much. And Tomlin, okay, some people will say, okay, he's just good enough. He's a good coach. He still gets the most out of him. He still gets him 9 or 10 wins. But we had talked about the stat last night. He is 0-4-1 in his last 5 games against teams that are 8 games under 500. So late in the season, games that matter can get him to the 11th, 12th win or whatever. He loses those games. He blows it. So I don't think you can use the excuse, he's good enough to get him 9 or 10 wins because he blows it. The last 2 years, they lost at Cleveland, and they really needed both games. They'd had the Division 1 this year if they won it. And I know DK didn't play, but still, he scored 6 points. That's it. That's not good enough. Aaron Rodgers didn't play well. I get it. But you're still the head coach. And, I was just going to say something. You kind of already said it. You can't keep winning 9 or 10 games every year. No. You have to do better or worse. Like it's better if you're not going to make the play. If you're not going to be a contender, it's better to pick in the top 5.
Yeah, so we'll use some things where you can actually see that all these things we're talking about are correct here, right? So they picked Kenny Pickett, and they're like, oh, he's the guy from Pittsburgh. He's the guy that's going to save us, and he was not, right? That's the kind of quarterback you're going to get with those picks and those later rounds and stuff like that. You're not going to get the elite guy. And then as far as what you brought up, because it's a great topic, I'm going to give you my take on this, and we'll see what happens here. Excuse me, what you think of it or what our fans think of it here. I believe when you're a guy who is the yell and scream, okay, you motivate people for a while with it, right? But then after a while, it's like, oh, here he goes. He's screaming at us again. Great. He's not really teaching us anything. He's just yelling and screaming to be yelling and screaming, right? And I think that's what happens kind of at the end of each one of these Pittsburgh Steelers seasons. these guys are like, oh, here we go. Tomlin's yelling at us again, and they almost check out because that's the way he coaches. And I wonder if that really is what happens. If they're just like, you know what, man, I'm just so tired of this, and they almost get downtrodden, and then they don't try towards the end, because that game Sunday looked like they were walking through it.
It looked like, to me, on offense, they were more worried about not letting Myles Garrett get the sack record than calling their offense. They should have just let him sack him on the first play, get it over with. Because Aaron Rodgers sitting there just throwing the first read, throwing fades, throwing back shoulders against Denzel Ward, a very good corner. That's what he did on that fourth down play. Marquez Valdes-Scantling versus Denzel Ward, that's not your read. And he just threw a fade. Of course, it was a disaster. Mm-hmm. That's a terrible call. Like, you have to go through your progressions. It didn't work. That was awful.
But we have to also say, if DK Metcalf was there, he'd be the first option, right?
He'd be the first option. They also would have won because he has size and speed, and it's so easy to scheme against an offense that doesn't have any speed. They have no one that'll threaten you vertically, and the Browns knew that. And it's so much easier to scheme. But one thing you did mention, we talked about, winning 9 and 10 games every year. You mentioned that you're not going to get a quarterback. I know you're a Cardinals fan. I know you're upset that they didn't do as well. We both thought they had a chance to make the playoffs. But the division was insanely good. The other three teams are really good.
I know where you're going with this.
This could be a blessing in disguise. This could be the best year to be horrible. They have a top 5 pick right now, the Cardinals. This is like, if the other three teams are great, you might as well stink. We'll see. We'll talk about this as years go on, but this could be the best thing that happens to the Cardinals. They could absolutely they're going to have a top 5 pick. They're going to have probably 2 of the top 35 picks. They could completely nail those picks and redo the organization. I remember when the 49ers got Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel picking 2nd overall. Changed their whole organization. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. So it could. And
they've got some good players. They really have some good players, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's not where I thought you were going. I actually thought you were going to say that the Arizona Cardinals should trade Kyler Murray to the Steelers and give them their quarterback, and that's where I thought you were going with that. But
no, I haven't thought about Kyler Murray a bit. But a lot of people are saying he should go to the Vikings. What a terrible fit for that offense, though. That makes no sense. Steelers actually would be a better fit, but we'll see what happens. We'll talk about that when the season's over. And I just got to mention this about the Steelers. They've had 3 coaches the last 56 years. Their organization, they like to pick their coach and stick with it. All 3 of the coaches have won Super Bowls, so they believe in continuity. But despite winning the Super Bowl in 2009, he beat the Cardinals. They can thank that pick 6 Kurt Warner for winning that.
Antonio Holmes.
Yeah, it's Antonio Holmes. But he has not been back to Super Bowl in 15 years. He's 1-1. And his postseason record, Tomlin, is 8-11. What do you? I know you don't like the Steelers, like the Bengals, but are you okay with this 8-11 and haven't been back in 15 years? If you're a fan,
no, I wouldn't be. There's got to be somebody out there that's better.
I defended Tomlin. I defended him for years. I did a video before the season defending him in the offseason. Like one of my first videos, probably my first 10 videos. But it's hard to defend him anymore. And I did a poll question. If you have 15 minutes left to vote, you can go on my YouTube channel @FootballCheese, CHEEZ. It's if the Steelers lose next week against the Ravens, will Mike Tomlin get fired? So we had yes or no, obviously. 23.8% said yes. I didn't vote, obviously, it's my poll. Mm-hmm. I would have said yes.
I did.
But 76.2% said no. So I think people still think no matter what, the Steelers are not going to fire him. They don't fire coaches. So you voted yes. So you think?
No, I actually voted no. I don't think they'll fire him. And it's exactly what you just talked about, the continuity behind it. I think Pittsburgh and the Rooney family are more about the continuity than they are the results, because that's what they've shown us. You just said it. His end of season record is bad. His playoff record is horrible. But yet they continue. It's like, okay, well, he's got us to a Super Bowl. Well, yeah, 10 years ago.
15 years ago.
15 years ago. It's even worse.
He's been in 2 Super Bowls. He won 1, lost 1. Hasn't been back in 15 years. Yeah.
that's the ultimate. What have you done for me lately? And I get it that that's your guy. We were talking about this with the Utah coach, right? That's your guy. You want to be consistent. He's been there for 21 years, and he's been the lifeblood of this organization. And if the lifeblood is mediocrity, then I don't want that as my lifeblood.
Well, before the season, I was talking to a friend. He's a Steelers fan, and he was saying, I just don't want to go at 9, and I don't want to go 9-8 again. This is like 5 straight years, 9 or 10 wins. What if they keep him and they go 9-8 again next year? This was the year to take the division. They upgraded quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't been great, but he's still better than what they had the last few years.
That's not saying much.
And the Bengals, Burrow was hurt. Bengals are down. The Ravens aren't nearly as good as they thought. This was in the Browns, of course, the Browns. So this was the year to win a 10, 11, 12 games.
No,
and
right.
They still didn't do it. And I don't think they're going to win. DK's not playing. I do not think they're going to beat the Ravens at home.
It depends on if Lamar's playing or not.
Tyler Huntley looked pretty good against Packers. Well, it's the Packers.
It was the Packers. But I'm going to stab him. It was the Packers. I'd cover my face too. Anyway.
We need Micah back. Okay. But the poll says most people don't think he's going to be fired, and we'll see. But I'm telling you, Steelers fans are losing patience. Every year they keep winning 9 or 10 games, they're losing patience.
And I want to throw in one more spot of this, and I'm going to see if you agree with me here. So when you get to that point, right, nobody is allowing the good quarterbacks to get away. They pay them. So the Steelers can't just sit out there and wait for a good quarterback to fall into their lap so that they can pay them. Those quarterbacks, those top 10, top 12 quarterbacks never hit free agency, right?
Who are they going to sign? Daniel Jones? They could go after Malik Willis, trade for Kyler Murray. That's fine. I don't think that you know what they'll do? They'll win 9 or 10 games with those quarterbacks next year.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
It is.
Daniel Jones is not going to take that group of receivers and just win a Super Bowl. It's not going to happen.
No.
And the defense has declined. Let's be honest. The Steelers, the last few years, the defense has gotten worse each year.
Yes, which is what Tomlin's supposed to be really good at.
Right. When they had Pickett, they were still winning 9 or 10 games because the defense was very good, and now it's not so great anymore. I'd say it's even below average. So, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Here.
They still might win the division. It's crazy. Yeah, the AFC North, it was this year for the taking. It's just been they've had a lot of disappointing teams. Okay. So, we talked about this. There's no dominant team in the NFL. Or basically, I don't think there's a clear favorite to win the Super Bowl. Do you agree?
Yeah, I was looking at teams a few minutes ago. I was like, oh, now, I saw this question because we exchanged notes ahead of time. So I've seen this and I've been thinking about it. I've had the ability to look for like the last 5 or 6 hours. And I've got to say, yes, I almost hate to say this. I don't want that ego of yours to go to get any larger, but you're right. There's no clear-cut favorite. Look at that hair. It's already look at that.
I have an ego? I have an ego? I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
I don't think so.
All right, Adam.
Wait, are you that guy in the comments of my channel? Okay.
No, those are all Bears fans.
Oh, those trolls. You know what's so funny about them is they help me, just all the comments they make help my algorithm. It's great. So I love Bears fans. I just keep calling Caleb Williams and their team overrated, and they just flood my channel. It's great.
Right. All you have to do is say that Matt LaFleur needs to be fired and Caleb Williams is terrible, and that's all you got to do for the rest of the year, man.
It's helping my channel grow. Matt LaFleur and Caleb Williams are helping my channel grow. Thank you. Yes. Right. But yeah, so every team has some big flaw. They do. That could cost them, in the playoffs. So we're going to do, each of us are going to pick an NFC team and an AFC team that we could see do one of two things. We absolutely could see them winning it all. And we could also see them completely just getting knocked out right away. Kind of like the Lions last year. Just got dominated by the Commanders. So we'll start with NFC. Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
It doesn't matter to me. I pretty much know who my teams are going to be because like I said, I've had a few hours to look at this. So you're not going to change my team. So go ahead and go first if you want. Okay,
NFC. I have the Eagles. So they're the defending champ, and they've kind of been fascinating to me. They actually might even have a better defense this year than they did last year. minus a game or two where they weren't sharp. But for the most part, their defense has been great. They held the Bills at 12 points. They held the Packers to 7. It's just a great defense. Vic Fangio is a great defensive coordinator. But their offense is pretty bad. Saquon Barkley hasn't been the same. A.J. Brown sometimes gives effort, bitches all the time. Jalen Hurts is so inconsistent. We saw him play amazing in the NFC title game. It was Super Bowl MVP. He doesn't look the same. The offense just sometimes goes to sleep. He didn't have a completion in the second half against the Bills last week.
Mm-hmm.
Not one completion. So if they find what they had in offense last year, if they get even close, they probably will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. But I think they're a very good chance they're one and done because they just can't move the ball. So that's my NFC team that's, boom or bust. Who is yours?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the team that I've been, so I knew the Cardinals were going to be bad, and it's like, okay, let's write them off. I mean, I'll still follow them. But I know they're not getting anywhere in the playoffs. I used to live in Ohio. My main team is the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's like, okay, so it was pretty obvious pretty early in the season when Burrow got hurt that there was a pretty good chance they weren't doing anything either. So it's like, all right, now I got to pick an alternate team, and I need to ride with them for the rest of the season. And I'm still going to ride with them. They're probably the one team that everything goes through one guy for me. And when he plays well, they do well. And when he doesn't play well, they're just they look like they're just falling apart. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, when Baker plays well, man, they're just right there, and they can beat pretty much anybody. But if Baker doesn't play well, and I know this is the same way with a lot of teams. If their quarterback plays terrible, like we saw Matthew Stafford last night, terrible, and they end up losing that game. But I think Baker is even more. Baker is not only the quarterback of that team, he's the leader. He's the lifeblood of that team. He's the rah guy on the sidelines. He's pretty much everything to that team. And if he can't play well, then that team's not going to do well. So I could see them winning everything if he gets on a roll, and I could also see them getting knocked out in the very first round where he doesn't do what he needs to do, and they're just going to get knocked out right away.
I'm glad you brought them up. Because the Falcons won last night, that Saturday afternoon game, Tampa Bay versus Carolina, it's in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
If the Buccaneers win, they don't necessarily win the division. They would need the Falcons to lose to the Saints to win the division. So they could beat the Panthers. They could win 41-0, celebrate, be all right. And still the Panthers would win the division if the Falcons beat the Saints. Fascinating. I love chaos like that. I was rooting for the Rams last night because I want chaos because it's just fun. But, yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah, Tampa, we both were high on them going into the year. We thought they'd be a lot better. And Baker Mayfield, the first month of the year, he was MVP. And now he's nowhere near.
Ibuka was the rookie of the year and all that in the beginning. I mean,
he's still up there, but he's dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick. I like that. Okay, AFC. I just mentioned them because they just played the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Here's the biggest issue with the Bills. And I don't know if a lot of people are talking about this. I don't have any evidence of this, but it seems like they have built their team to beat the Chiefs. We have trouble beating the Chiefs. We're gonna draft and sign free agents to beat the Chiefs. And they beat them in the regular season, and they always find a way to lose in the postseason to them. But here's the problem. The Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. And they have huge flaws. Yes, you have Josh Allen. You have James Cook. You have a really good run-blocking offensive line. But the defense has been underwhelming. You drafted all these defensive players. A lot of those rookies have not played well. And so there are games where they just give up a ton of yards, ton of points. Travion Henderson destroyed them. And then even Josh Allen won the MVP last year, but he's trying to beat Patrick Mahomes at times and just run around forever. And there have been 2 plays this year where he lost like over 20 yards just trying to run around, trying to get too cute. He used to throw the ball away more. I don't know what it is. He just hasn't been as good this year. And he's taken way too many sacks. Lamar Jackson's kind of done this too. Have you seen those plays where he just runs back? One of them was almost a safety, and he loses like over 20 yards. Like, you can't do that.
Mm-mm.
So
you're trying to keep the play alive. That doesn't always work.
Yeah, if they get ahead, and they had a great come from behind when they were down 21-0 the Patriots. They have pieces. They have talent. They have Josh Allen, who at times looks like the best quarterback in the NFL. They have James Cook, great running back. But other times they look terrible. And if they don't score, they're going to be one and done in the playoffs because their defense, especially against the run, really struggles. But I can see the Bills going on a run, getting hot. Josh Allen plays amazing and just winning the Super Bowl. And I can see them they're gone because they're going to start. They didn't win the division, so they're going to be on the road to start. Who is your AFC team?
So I was having this discussion with a buddy of mine at work that I respect a lot with his football knowledge and stuff. One of these days we may have to have him on the show.
Okay.
And he's I'll give you his big 3 words in football. He says it all the time. Defense wins championships.
Okay.
And if that's the case, you've got a team in the AFC South that has one of the best defenses out there. Yet sometimes they just completely lay an egg. And I love their quarterback. I love the, what he stands for and a lot of what he does. And in fact, I'm seeing this pick up a lot across the league, by the way. Maybe it's something we need to talk about here before the end of the season is everybody giving credit to God and everybody talking about Jesus and all of it. I'm seeing this pick up a lot in the NFL. Maybe we won't talk about it right the moment, but I'd love to get your opinion on it sometime. I love their quarterback. I love their defense, but I've also seen them play a few times, and you just shake your head at the Houston Texans and be like, "What are you guys doing?" So that's my team. I think, like you say, for the Bills, man, I really think with that defense and with their quarterback, and they've got a couple of really good receivers and all of that, they could go on a run. They've got the pieces. But for some reason, they've just not been able to put it together in any one game this season. And so therefore, when I watch them play, I'm just like, oh man, are they going to win? Are they going to find a way to lose? What are they doing here? So that would be my boom or bust kind of pick. Are the Houston Texans.
They started 0-3. They've been great ever since for the most part. But your offense, like you said, is inconsistent. The offensive line's bad. It's just a bad offensive line. It's not the worst in the NFL, but it's really bad. And that's a problem. And they run into a team in the playoffs that just has a really good defensive line. They could be in trouble. So yeah, good pick. Mm-hmm. All right. So
we've been complimenting each other a lot in this show. I don't know.
Well, you had some good picks. I didn't expect you to have good picks. I expect you to
okay. So you were expecting me to be stupid when I'm not stupid. You're like, he's not totally retarded.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't say the Bears. That would have made fun of you. Okay. Good picks. Yeah. Okay. Last question.
I think it's Stephon Diggs time, isn't it?
Yes, we got to talk about what happened. So, did you watch my video on Stephon Diggs?
Yes, I did. Okay, I watched it, retweeted it, put some stuff out there for you. I mean, I try to help you out, so I really do.
Appreciate that. You can see it on my channel at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, by the way. Yeah.
And some other people need to try to help you out too. Maybe they'll retweet it and stuff like that, right? That'll help.
Yes, that will help. Yes.
It's amazing content, by the way.
Thank you. Got a lot of views right away because it was like a hot story. I was able to get the video up quick as soon as I saw it. But he's been accused.
Now wait, I got to plug you because that's why you should hit the bell for notifications because you never know when you're going to be able to get stuff out quick like that. Just boom.
It was an easy video to make. All I did was breathe, and I just got it out, edited it quick, got it out there. So yeah, it's one of my shorter videos. Usually I just keep talking. Yeah, usually I just talk for 15 minutes. So, but it's pretty disturbing. He is accused of felony strangulation, suffocation. 4 weeks ago, it was his personal chef, a female. She did not report it to police for 2 weeks, so she waited 2 weeks. But apparently, allegedly, he went into her unlocked bedroom, strangled her over a dispute of money. She said she had not been paid. But the thing with Stephon Diggs is there's been a lot of red flags about his character. He's been traded twice. The Minnesota Vikings traded him in his prime. He was one of the best, probably 10 or 15 receivers in the NFL. You don't just do that, And then the Bills traded him, and the Bills still don't have a number one receiver. That's a big problem for them. Didn't even mention that when I just talked about the Bills. They just wanted him out of the building. Mm-hmm. He fell to the 4th round of the draft. He should have gone higher because of character concerns. So, assuming it did happen, we don't know. Athletes have been accused before, but assuming it did happen, what would you do if you're the Patriots? Would you release him now? Would you wait till the end of the season? Would you keep him? What would you do?
Well, it's hard to say because we don't know if it's really true or not.
Assuming it is true.
Okay, so you're going to assume that it is true.
It might be hard to prove, but because she did wait 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if I can prove to the fact that he did it, I don't want him in my building. I don't want him around all these young, impressionable kids that the Patriots have. I'll take my chances. And to
Just
be honest,
now, like right away, like you wouldn't even
like
keep
right now. I'd have done it already. And here's the thing, right? And I know this is going to sound like a cop out here for a second, and it kind of sort of is, to be really honest. But if they release him, and let's say they get beat relatively early in the playoffs, they can always point to him and be like, hey, it's kind of like what we were talking about DK Metcalf earlier, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers should have won that game on Sunday, and they probably would have with DK. And you can go, hey, man, we thought we had the right guy. We thought we had a really good receiver, and we just couldn't have him in the building. We had to let him go. We had to cut him. And that's the whole reason why we didn't win right at the moment. So, yes, our regular season was great. We couldn't make it in the playoffs because of that, but we're going to get a number one receiver in the draft, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to build on what we've got. Nobody expects the Patriots to win the Super Bowl anyway. So, I mean, go ahead and release him, get him out of the building, and build with what you've got. Take a chance. Bring back Julian Edelman.
I think they're better than people think. I think they have a legit shot. I do. Maybe I'm wrong. I've watched them play a lot, and they do a lot of things well. But as far as Stephon Diggs goes, I don't know what I'd do with them. They shouldn't have signed him in the first place. They were desperate for number one receiver. Mm-hmm. They were absolutely desperate. But this puts them in a bind because he is their best receiver. And I don't know if they can win with him. What do you think? Do you think let's just say even they keep him, this distraction, do you think this hurts them? Even the distraction, even if he still plays?
I think you've got to decide right now. Is he, are we going to stick with him or are we not going to stick with him? I don't think there's an in-between. It's a yes or a no type deal right now. I would want them to do it before the end of the day, or sometime between now and midnight. They need to decide. When we wake up tomorrow morning, he should either be released or they should be behind him saying, we're going to wait until everything it runs its course and and they get behind him as much as they can. It should be one of those two. And I don't know if I can get behind him with all the other character issues and flaws and stuff that he has. So I would probably just get rid of him right now.
He has denied the allegations. Of course,
he has.
Of course he has. You said we don't know. She could be making it up. It could be a money thing. I don't know if this is true. I did see someone posted on X that he tried to pay her off after she went to the police. I don't know if that's true, but allegedly he tried to pay her off after the fact and give her money. Oh, wait, I'll pay you now. So we'll see if that's true. But did you see the video of him when he was with the Vikings? They went around to all these Vikings players in the locker room. Who would you not want your sister to date? Have you seen that video?
Mm-mm.
Just search on X. You can find it. Every single Minnesota Viking, every single one says Stephon Diggs. Every one. Who would you not want your sister to date? Stephon Diggs. They kept saying it. And that's pretty telling. So that concludes. Anything else about the NFL and Diggs?
Not necessarily Diggs in the NFL. I did see a couple of things we probably want to bring up here real quick. I don't know if you've seen them. Darnell Washington is going to be out for the rest of the season in Pittsburgh. Does that make a big deal as far as their tight end room?
Yeah, because he's a great blocker. He is mammoth tight end, and he's their best blocking tight end. So, yes, that will definitely hurt their running game. I think that's a big loss for them.
All right. Kirby Yates has reportedly agreed to a 1-year deal. So he is going to go to the Anaheim Angels. We talked about, hey, they got rid of that terrible contract. They've got some more money to spend, and they didn't wait too long to do it. So they got reliever Kirby Yates already. So they have added him to the team. I saw where Tennessee just got beat, right? Illinois just beat Tennessee.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. It's
Yeah.
a lot of Tennessee players didn't even play. Like a lot of, unfortunately, bowl games just don't mean much anymore.
So Dallas released somebody today too, right? Who did? I was trying to find
Trevon Diggs. So that's interesting. So yeah, let's talk about that. So he's a corner. He got paid. He's had some really good seasons. He's always been guy takes chances. He'll get pick sixes, but also give up a lot too. So like the grading system PFF doesn't like him, but he's made a lot of plays. He's had some games where he's just made plays and helped them win. The problem is he's been hurt a lot, and apparently he wanted to stay in Washington after the game against the Commanders because he has family there for a couple extra day or two, and they said no, you have to fly back with the team, and he had problems with that. And they finally, like I said, he's not been good when he's been out there. He hasn't been good for years. They finally just said they've had enough and released him. Interesting to see if any playoff team picks him up. I wouldn't, because like I said, he just hasn't played well in years, and he just never healthy. But just a little surprised they didn't wait till the end of the year.
I'm going to put this up on our X right now. Obviously, I'm not listening to it because that would make for terrible podcasting. Let me give you a Kenny Dillingham quote here. He's in front of the media. This was a few hours ago. When he's asked what kind of player does he recruit for ASU football, here's his quote. This is fantastic. You got to love football. You got to wake up every day with a passion about it. You got to love showing up and lifting, running, puking, gaining weight, and drinking protein shakes.
I love that.
I love it. That's great. That's Kenny Dillingham, man. I love the guy. I'm glad he stayed here with us in ASU. And the more I watch him, the more I look at him, the more of an ASU fan I'm getting because of that coach.
Yeah, huge for them to keep him. I mean, that was so huge. It would have really hurt the program, and the quarterback's transferring, and you're losing some really good players in the NFL, including Jordan Tyson, who I think will be a top 5 pick, not even top 10, top 5 wide receivers. So, yeah, big get for Arizona. Arizona State.
So, we are coming to the end of the show. 2 hours, 30 minutes roughly that we did this. We want to make sure that we tell you guys how fantastically proud we are to be doing this show for you. Cheese and I are not going anywhere. This has become a great duo between the two of us, the football guy and the baseball guy, and we combine everything together. We've really found a home here. We've got a great sponsor in Battle Bites, and we're looking to get a few other ones. Hopefully a nice coffee company for Cheese and some other stuff here, looking at a couple other drink companies. So we are growing by leaps and bounds, and it's because of all of you guys. Thank you for going over to our YouTube channel at All Gloves Off Sports Media and subscribing and liking and commenting and all of those kinds of things. Sharing, yes, we love it, and we love doing what we do. We like to get up every morning and we live podcasting, and we work out, and we puke, and we drink some protein shakes, and okay.
I don't, but I do eat a lot of protein in the morning.
And he has a treadmill that he works out on every day too.
Cheese loves dairy. Cheese loves yogurt. Cheese loves yogurt.
All right. So guys, again, we appreciate it. Thank you very much for giving us all of this. If you got some suggestions for us in the new year, some segments you want us to try, some different things that you want us to look at, by all means, let us know. Go ahead, Cheese. You're going to say something.
No, next week we're going to do some NFL awards, and we're going to do some that are not like actual awards. We are going to do a fun show. We're going to make up some awards that are actually not awards. So that'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you check us out 1 week from today. It'll be our first show in the new year. So Happy New Year, everybody.
Right. We'll announce what we're going to do on our X platform. That is all at All Gloves Off SM on X. We'll announce some of the awards that we're going to do. I think we can say we're going to do like worst this and worst that, not just best everything.
Oh yeah, we're going to be negative.
We need to be negative too.
Negative. We're going to be grumpy. We're going to make Mike as grumpy as I get about Matt LaFleur.
I don't know about that. That's pretty grumpy, but
We'll try.
We'll try. All right. Cheese, thank you very much for doing this with me all through this year. I appreciate it, man. I really do. You have you've really solidified this show, and I appreciate this just from me to you, man. Publicly and everything. I appreciate it. Your beautiful hair and the knowledge inside that brain underneath of it. So,
well, I appreciate you. I remember when you had me on as a guest talk NFL draft, and back in maybe March. So that was I really appreciate that. My channel grew a lot after that segment, so I really appreciate that.
Sure, and it continues to grow because of all the great content that you put out, and because of our great fans that we have right now. So, stop slathering each other with butter here. We'll go ahead and say goodnight. We appreciate
next week
all of you.
We'll do more criticisms of each other.
Okay. All right. We'll try to be harder on each other next week. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for joining us. You are, and you have been on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. We appreciate you. We love you. Happy New Year. Be safe out there. We want all of you to come back in the new year. And as we say at the end of every single show, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Thank you all. We appreciate you. We'll see you next year.